Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming tonight. Welcome to the kitchen. We are back. We are almost ready to go. This is Kitchen Court Cases. If this is your first time here, welcome. We're about to play a game called Detention, Docket, Dinners. I'm about to close this poll. So this is your last opportunity to get your vote in the poll. I'm going to give it 30 seconds for the tape delay. But this poll is asking if we should be playing a word game tonight or if we should not. And in the end, I will decide based upon input from the poll as well as mostly what I want. And I have a few little items that I wanted to show you guys first before we started. This will not make any sense to anybody that's just joining us for the first time tonight. But we've already done one live stream. And on that live stream, that lawyer behind her, she had what I found to be a trio of pictures. Can anybody, for 1,000,000 points, tell me what the lawyer in the last video that we just streamed had on her wall, framed behind her as her wall art? Once again, this is for 1,000,000 fake internet points that are completely arbitrary. Jacqueline has made it back. Thank you. CRD, Carrie, these hands, Jesse, My Crazy Life, Jonathan, Lisa, Chris with the fur, Ginger, CRD, Mayor, Tupac. Who else is here? Lawrence Browning, Jonathan Hart, Streamlabs. Yeah, I see you. We're having words right now. So nobody's gonna say, oh, so close, so close, so close, Jonathan. So close, so close. The thing that got me thinking was the first word is indeed hustle. And I thought hustle is a bit of a strange word to have for, uh, excuse me, Larry, can you just back off for a minute? Thank you. Um, like hustle's just a weird word. The next word is grind and then execute. So I found the exact set that she got on Pinterest was from Etsy, and I don't know. I don't think, yeah, I'll show you guys. I'll show you. Out of the way, get out of the way, kitchen court cases. See? Hustle, grind, execute. And that's the exact ones she had pretty much. They come in a lot other nicer ones I would prefer. But anyways. So the second thing, again, this is not going to make sense to most people, but these are the Easter eggs. Earlier tonight, Time Served, one of my good friends, did a great live. And in it, he had a situation where Judge Simpson was dealing with a woman who assaulted somebody in a Starbucks drive-through line. And the victim was there as well as the person being sentenced. And the victim wanted the person to go to jail. And Judge Simpson, in the end, put jail time suspended. And let me see, she was ordered to write the letter. You think, oh, why would you even mention that part or forget about it? Because I took the liberty of writing the letter for her. Um, I think you guys will enjoy this. Obviously, done in good fun. So, this is from the woman who was in the Starbucks drive-through. And if anybody can drop the link to that video from Time Served, that will make it even more make more sense. Anyways, I took a few cues. I'm a pretty good writer, I'll have to say, but I took a few cues from her um attitude in court as to how I wrote this. And I'll see if you guys like it or what you thought. Okay? So it starts out, hey, so like, I guess I gotta write this apology letter because of what happened at the Starbucks drive-through lineup. Ugh, can't even believe I have to do this. Okay, here goes. I'm sorry for like punching your stupid car window. It was a dumb move on my part, I guess. I mean, who knew punching glass could be such a bad idea, right? But whatever. I know you were all scared and stuff, but come on, it's not like I'm some serial window puncher or anything. It was just a one-time thing, I swear. So don't go making a big deal out of it. Anyway, I hope your stupid car window get fixed or whatever. Like, sorry for inconveniencing you with my momentary lapse of judgment, but hey, maybe you could have rolled down your window and I don't know, talked it out with me instead of making such a huge drama. I heard you wanted me to go to jail or something, but lucky for me, the judge wasn't having it. So instead, here I am writing this lame apology letter. Honestly, I think jail would have been easier, but no, they had to go with the letter thing. Look, I'm not really that sorry, to be honest. I mean, it's your fault for driving a car with such punchable windows. Maybe next time think about that before you get all surprised when someone takes a swing at them. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me, even though I don't really care that much. But hey, life's too short to hold grudges, right? Okay, that's all I got. Don't expect any miracles. Bye. What do you think? Do you think we should send it to her? I think that it would probably not matter at all because nobody else is going to read it. And obviously, it's done in jest. She doesn't even have to go write that many paragraphs in reality. Was it? No, the lady, well, how I remembered it and what I was writing was the lady was in her car in the Starbucks drive-through, and the woman was behind her, and her friend was out of the vehicle, and she thought that they were going to back up into her friend, so she went over to the window and punched the window. And then that the lady who was in the car had two kids in the car with her, and then they got back in the car and peeled off or something like that. That's what I thought happened. And then the woman wanted her to go to jail for like 2 months. And yeah. But what part did I miss? Like what part of the like her attitude maybe? I definitely exaggerated on that. Absolutely. That was just my own creative license. But I was just she wanted her to go to jail for 2 days even, I think. Was it? Um yeah. Maybe I got it wrong. I don't know, but that's how I how I heard the case. Well, I was frantically getting ready for my lives. Anyways, so now that we've done that and I've gotten that off my chest, let me go close this poll and see where we're at. If you didn't vote, you can't complain. Okay. End poll. One time I saw a judge assign a 10-page essay. A 10-page essay, which I thought was pretty insane. How many viewers did I lose? Oh, lots. That's okay. Um, I'm completely forgetting what I'm doing. I have to. Oh, I have to look at the results of the poll. That's what I have to do. Poll complete. Uh, sure, maybe, absolutely fucking not. Oh my God, yes, that's all I want. Sorry, 20% of you. We're gonna play it. Um, but it won't always be here. And don't you feel heard as well? But yeah, we're definitely gonna play. Because I want to play tonight too. I'm really hoping that our stream is live and proper. So if you are new here, we're going to be doing two things at once because ADD. We are going to be playing a word game and we are also going to be watching detention dockets. So the detention dockets are from 2021 and they are from the 323rd District Court in Tarrant County, Texas. They're juvenile dockets, so they're different than. Oh no. Excuse my language again. Swearing. Ugh, it is true. Uh, there's just like this horrible period in time when detention dockets were in person but also streamed and the audio was just horrible. We might be coming to those times. We are. Audio is just unbearable, honestly. Um, that's funny. Okay, well, I'm sure we've got a few that I've still got left. Anyways, but I'm gonna put up the game so people can see what I'm talking about for the game. The game is Wordle or like chat words, I guess. The command to play is the word try, but you start with exclamation mark, TRY, space, and then 5 letters as a guess. If you see green, that means the letter is in the right spot. If you see yellow, it means it's in the word, but it's not in the right spot. And if you see gray letters, that means those aren't in the word at all. Okay. So, we did not. I had some words with Streamlabs. I've been having difficulties. It wasn't my fault. Anyways, so, um, you can work together in the chat so for example, AEIOU was put in, but A and E are in the word, but not in that spot. And so what we need to do is think of, and there's no other vowels in it, obviously. So the E and the A are going to be in different spots in the next guesses, and then they will contain other letters. Uh, you don't have to participate at all and don't worry about it. Again, this is not going to be something we do always, but I'm just working out some kinks in it. And just again, as usual, I enjoy listening to court like a lot of you guys do. And I think that it's a great listenable thing, but it's also fun to do some other things if you can in the chat. I liken it back to originally when I was first on the internet in the early 2000s. I was on Yahoo chat rooms a lot, playing trivia in the chat rooms. And I will tell you right now, good times were had. It was formative for me and I miss it very much. It was like a chat bot. Don't think like guinea pigs. Think more like Oh my God, this is gonna be a nightmare. Sorry, I just am seeing the freaking face of him. Oh, perfect. Just like a gift. It's like a little gift for me, this was. Okay. What we'll do is, sorry guys, by the way, like this is it's the best we can do. Um, oh my gosh. My brain won't work. There is the playlist that I need to see for us to play this. Okay, there we go. Okay, we'll get it going. So the other thing is detention dockets are a little bit different. Oh, kinks, I like it. Um, I don't give a fuck. I like that guess too. Um, the detention dockets, Judge Kim runs a really tight ship. So that means you can't be late, you can't be moving around, you can't be doing anything fun, really. So that's always fun to watch. He is very um, persnickety, I would say. I would use the term persnickety. Anyways, I'll shut up now and we will watch.
Ability to
Judge Terry.
Good morning, everyone. This is the detention docket for the 323rd District Court, Juvenile Court in Tarrant County. Although courts are open for some proceedings, it is detention hearings due to the inability to properly socially distance in the courthouse and in the courtroom. Detention hearings are still being held remotely via Zoom and still being live streamed on YouTube so that the public can have some sort of access to the courts and see what's going on in their courts in keeping with the spirit of the Open Courts Act. However, no one may copy, record, or redistribute any portion of this live stream, and a violation of the court's order may result in the finding of contempt, which would be punishable by up to 6 months in the Tarrant County Jail and or up to a $500 fine. With that, can we have Casey Abamba, please? Oh, hi, Casey. I'm Judge Terry. This is your 10-day detention hearing. Purpose of this hearing is to determine whether I can release you to a parent or guardian, or if I should keep you here detained. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney, and your attorney is Mr. Willett. He's here on Zoom with us. You have been here since February 24th and have petitions filed against you on aggravated assault with deadly weapon and deadly conduct, discharge of firearm. You're brought in by Arlington PD for deadly conduct on the 24th, but it alleges that on the 17th of February, around 5:20, police were dispatched to a shooting call. Victim had been taken to the hospital. Already witnesses stated the vehicle had been in the area and police were obtaining a license plate. Okay. Victim had not been shot, but the fragments of glass had gotten into one of his eyes. Oh, this is when you went to the girlfriend's house, allegedly, and or he was at his girlfriend's house and he was out trying to get his dog. the dog back in, and then he heard gunshots and he had glass fragments in his eyes. You are tested positive for marijuana when you came in. This is up for a determinate sentence hearing on April 7th at 8:30. I don't know why you're level 1 acceptable, but the standard is level 1 outstanding.
Ma'am?
Yes.
They just changed my level back to a 1-0. Something happened in the paperwork yesterday, so they changed my paperwork to a 1-0.
Just in time for detention hearing.
Okay.
Okay.
Your Honor, on his paperwork that I have, it says he's been outstanding since 2/28 of 21.
2/28. Okay. Well, here's the thing that I'm concerned about. I'm glad that you're level 1 outstanding, if you are, and that you have been for so long, Casey, because I'm looking at your history since 2017. You've been trying to get here and stay here. 2019, you tried really hard. But let's see. Right now, you've upped it with these current offenses of deadly conduct, discharge of a firearm, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And quite frankly, you're lucky that you're not here on a murder charge if the report is true as to what happened. And so because this involves a firearm that was actually discharged by a 16-year-old, I'm concerned for the safety of the community. I'm going to keep you here detained. Thank you. Can you make a note? Can you keep track of those things? All right, let's see. Oh, I don't get to see Serena today. Okay. Misael Vidales?
Yeah.
So what do you think the court is supposed to do with you today?
Like, I don't know.
I think you know. Let's stop playing games. You cut off your EM. That's why the DTA was issued on March 9th. Mom says you removed it and left the house that morning through the window without permission. And then when you were brought back in, you tested positive for marijuana. You're already pending an evading arrest, detention, theft of property, and assault causes bodily injury, family member. So you're detained. You are just likely to abscond or reoffend. Thank you. All right, Roderick Chambers. Morning, Mr. Chambers. Can you hear me?
Good morning.
Morning, I'm Judge Terry. This is your 10-day detention hearing. The purpose of this hearing is to determine whether I can release you to a parent or guardian or if I should keep you here detained. You have a right to remain silent, and you have a right to your attorney. Your attorney, I believe, is Mr. Gladstone, and I know he's here on Zoom.
I'm here, Judge.
Good morning.
Morning.
Right. So you've been here since March 15th on referral to the prosecutor for a deadly weapon in a penal institution and possession of controlled substance.
Judge, I have a probable cause issue with the charge. How could he be charged with intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly bringing a firearm into the juvenile if he's under arrest?
Well,
it's impossible.
He's also got the possession of controlled substance less than 3, greater than 28. So let me take a look here, Mr. Gladstone. I haven't seen this one yet, but I know that probable cause has previously been found that an offense had been committed and he was the one who did. So I'm not sure which one that was on. Maybe it was just a controlled substance. So
no, it was both of the last hearing, Judge, but given some thought to this thing, that it's an impossible charge. The cops should have done their job.
I was wondering, but okay, let me look. Let's see here. 3M 3/14, 10:45 p.m. Police respond to a prowler call that 3 juveniles appear to be pulling the door and handles of several vehicles. When police arrive, they observe 3 vehicles attempting to hide. This is the reason why I bust my butt to get my garage packed up and put away so we can get vehicles inside. Let's see. When police approached them, they took off, running to residential neighborhood.
What a fucking flex. Oh my God, I hate Judge Terry so much. Oh my God, that is exactly why I cleaned my double garage where I park my nice vehicles, because I am super afraid of people coming into my garage and like, I don't even know. Now, granted, yes, crime is a thing. You live in Texas, I get it. However, the implication that she is at risk just like they are is just laughable to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. But she just rubs me the wrong way. Judge Terry, I'm sorry. You're still welcome to come to the kitchen and we can talk it out. But I just don't like it. Right. Right.
Police told them to stop running. They were detained a short time later when police searched Roderick. He was in possession of several pills with R039 stamped on them. Police called poison control, verified that they were Xanax, what's known as Xanax. Total weight of 8.43 grams. Roderick was detained and transported. Okay, while being searched at the detention center, the staff located a handgun on his person. Wow, this could have gone bad. And then police took possession of the gun. Well, I'm not Monday morning quarterbacking, but looks like the controlled substance PC is definitely, an issue. He has no other history, it looks like. Well, he's only level 2 outstanding, Mr. Gladstone. That's the problem. He knows the rules.
I see that, Judge.
That's not the only reason I'm detaining him. I'm concerned about him having, unless he has a prescription for Xanax, I'm concerned. Is there a parent or guardian here? If the parent's computer is on mute. Can someone unmute the parent's computer, please? Thank you. Mom, I can't even see your face. Can you kind of tilt the monitor or scoot up, please? Thank you. Does he have a prescription for Xanax?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
The next question should be, do you?
All right. Well, Mr. Chambers, I'm concerned that you have so many and you're out with the gun. You don't have a prescription for it. And you're pulling handles on doors, allegedly, several vehicles. This is just not. And you're level 2 outstanding, knowing that you have all this stuff and you've never been in trouble before. So that tells me either you've been really lucky or you just decided to be completely defiant right now. But level 2 is not the way to get out of here. So you're gonna have to show me something different. I'm gonna go ahead and detain you because I don't feel like you're ready to be released back into the community. I think you would be likely to reoffend or be a danger to yourself with the Xanax or the community. So you're detained for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, let's see. It'll be Rashonda Henderson will be next because apparently Miss Gargar doesn't want to be bothered with the detention hearing, so we'll see her at the end in person. If we can see Rashonda.
Right here, Judge.
All right, thank you, Miss. I'm Judge Terry. This is your 10-day detention hearing. The purpose is to determine whether I can release you to a parent or guardian or if you should continue to be detained. You have a right to remain silent and you have a right to an attorney. Your attorney is Janine Hopkins, and she is here with a pretty teal jacket on Zoom.
Good morning.
All right, Ms. Henderson, you have been here since February 28th. Let's see, you had a DTA issued on the 16th of February. Previously, you had one in October, back in June of 2020, violation of a court order. Oh, you have a very thick, over a page long.
A very thick. Shut up, Judge Terry. A very thick what? A very thick what? I'm a child. I'm sorry. Say it again.
Back in June of 2020, violation of a court order. Oh, you have a very thick, over a page long, stemming back to 2018, almost 2 pages. Says that you were referred in by Fort Worth PD on February 28th. They were dispatched to an activation call for a stolen black Ford Fusion on Riverside. They observed the vehicle parked in front of the residence located on Roberts Street. Officers activated emergency lights to conduct a traffic stop, and a black female, who was later identified as you, exited the driver's side of the vehicle and fled northbound through the backyard of several residences. Officers initially lost sight of you, but then finally located you. You were observed driving the stolen vehicle via a city camera. Officers contacted the owner, and then they took possession of the vehicle. Officers completed the investigation and placed you under arrest for unauthorized use of a motor vehicle and transported you here without incident, where you were detained. Why was a DTA issued?
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes.
she had been on abscond status.
Okay. Well, for how long?
From, I believe it was from October to January the 16th.
Right.
And she was released. We had a court hearing. Judge Porter on the 1st extended her probation and placed on the electronic monitor. Then she absconded again.
That's right. I see that. Just on the 1st of February. And then she absconded again. She tested positive for
Yes.
marijuana both times she came back in. Judge Porter gave you a chance, Ms. Henderson, and you burned it. So you are next set for court on April 8th. And I know you're likely to abscond because you've shown us that. And so I'm going to go ahead and keep you detained. Thank you.
Your
Thank
Honor,
you,
may I
Your
be excused?
Yes, thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Thank you. I didn't see a parent or guardian here for her, so. Okay, Kevion Mayberry.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Kevion. I'm Judge Terry. This is your 10-day detention hearing, and the purpose of this hearing is to determine whether I can release you to a parent or guardian, or if I should keep you here detained. You have a right to remain silent. You also have a right to an attorney, and your attorney is Brad Shaw, and he is here on Zoom with us. And let's see, you are also 14 years old. Let's see, you've been here, brought in on March 10th for assault public servant and assault causes bodily injury. You're referred by Fort Worth PD. Says that the school resource officer at Leonard Middle School was notified of disturbance and found multiple administrators leading you away from the victim and fellow student. Counselor advised police she had been speaking with a parent when alerted to a fight. She advised when she saw you approach the victim and began punching the victim. Victim fell into a nearby chair and you continued to strike him. Counselor attempted to pull you off of the victim by pulling your jacket, but you continued to swing at the other student, and in doing so struck the counselor several times, causing her pain in the chest and right shoulder. Counselor confirmed the pain when interviewed by the police and was noted she was breathing heavily and struggling to catch her breath. Police reviewed camera footage that confirms the victim/counselor statement. A student victim, was observed to have a swollen eye and bloody nose. Said that you approached him, quote unquote, talking smack, and then began hitting him. You have no history here. Currently set for April 12th for court. Is there a parent or guardian here for him?
Yeah, I'm over here.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, level 1 outstanding as of today. So Mr. Lewis, what's his behavior been like prior to today?
Your Honor, I'm covering the case for Mr. Lewis.
Okay.
And so your question was, would you please repeat?
Yes, what has his behavior level in the back been like prior to today?
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let you know in just a moment.
Okay.
According to what I've read, on 322, he was a level 2 outstanding. On 320, he was a level 3 outstanding. On 318, a level 3 confined. And then when he first came in, he started improving his levels. On 313, he was a level 2 outstanding and a level 1 outstanding on 314.
Okay, so is he supposed to be on any sort of behavioral medication, Mom?
Yes, I set him up for MHMR and counseling to cope with his behavior. Yes, I did.
When did you do that?
During the 10 days he's been in here.
Okay, what I'm asking you, was he previously prescribed medication or anything like that he's supposed to be on?
No, ma'am.
Okay. He just sounds like he wants, I don't know, sounds to me like he just wants to be defined. If that's what happened, if he's walking up to people at school doing that and then getting in here and not knowing how to behave. And so by his behavior since he's been here, I'm not convinced that he's ready to be released and he wouldn't be a danger to others and that he'd know how to follow the rules. So I'm going to go ahead and keep him detained for now. Thank you.
Do you know when he'll be released?
That's up to him and his behavior, ma'am. Thank you.
Miss Terry,
Yes.
I didn't know when I first came. I didn't know that we went from a level 3 when we slept. And I've been doing good ever since I've been.
When you got here, were you given some rules?
No, ma'am.
You weren't given any rules when you got here.
No, ma'am.
Okay, you'd be the only child that I've heard of that was not told what the rules are when they get here.
No, I wasn't told that we our level thinking, the level stuff. I wasn't told until like a week.
Okay, well, there's a set of rules you're expected to follow back there that JPD has, and if you defy the detention officers back there or you break the rules or whatever, you're going to get marked up. So now you know. All right? Thank you.
Excuse me. I have one more thing to say.
Yes?
The reason why he has got in trouble is because he didn't want to get up to eat breakfast. That was the only reason why this level went from.
Ma'am, we have rules here, and it doesn't matter how silly you may think they are or him, but having you express that is not going to help him obey them. But, some schools have rules where they have to walk in a single file line on the right-hand side of the hallway, and that's the rule. And if you vary from that, then you get written up. There are, just like that, there are rules here in the back. And if he can't follow those rules, then he will stay here until he can follow those rules, and that's the way it is. So, all right, next is Samuel excuse me.
Thank goodness my daughter doesn't get in trouble either. Knock on some wood. That's me knocking on my head. Because damn, you got to bite your tongue when the judge talks like that. And I'm smart enough to know, obviously, regardless, the issue here is that it is a stupid rule. And she loves pointing it out. They all do. Yeah, we know they're full of stupid rules. It's like, okay. Anyways. Uh-oh. Something just beeped. Anyways, we'll continue.
Nishernamana?
Good morning.
Well, good morning, Mr. Lofton. All right, where is he? I don't see him.
So, Your Honor, I'm also covering that case for Mr. Lewis.
All right, thank you. Where is Samuel? Good morning, Samuel. I'm Judge Terry. This is your 10-day detention hearing, and the purpose of this hearing is to determine whether I can release you back to a parent or guardian if I should keep you here detained. You have a right to remain silent, and you have a right to an attorney, and your attorney is Trent Lofton. He is here on Zoom on an airplane.
Good morning.
All right. Another 14-year-old. You've been here. Oh, gosh. You have pending offenses of aggravated robbery, evading arrest, detention, aggravated robbery. ETA was issued back in October for you. Prior to that, you've got pending offenses of theft of firearm and burglary of vehicles. On January 2nd of this year, you were referred in by Fort Worth PD for aggravated robbery and evading arrest. The police met with the victim who said he was cleaning out his vehicle when he saw two unknown black males walk past his house and then turning around and walking towards his vehicle. He redirected them to leave, and one of them allegedly pulled out a semi-automatic pistol from the inside of his jacket and told him to open the door to his vehicle. Victim refused. Suspect pulled back the slide, chambered around, again ordering him to open his vehicle. Victim complied, and the two suspects entered the vehicle with the armed suspect in the passenger seat and drove off. Victim's vehicle was spotted by a flock camera on Oak Grove Road, and police attempted to initiate a traffic stop. Stolen vehicle increased its speed and began changing multiple lanes in an attempt to evade. Chase ensued westbound on I-20. Driver was unable to control its speed, causing it to jump a medium and strike a pole on James Avenue, wrecking the vehicle. Samuel Yu allegedly leapt from the passenger seat and fled police on foot, running north on James Avenue, defying lawful orders from officers to stop. You were caught by responding officers during a foot chase and detained. The Smith and Wesson 40 caliber handgun was found on the floorboard where you had been observed sitting, and your physical description matched the description of the armed suspect. Let's see. But previously, Judge Porter issued a DTA for you, failing to appear to court for your pending offenses of theft of firearm and burglary of a vehicle. So basically, you're out there doing the same thing that you already had pending offenses for, or similar. Yeah. On March 8th, Fort Worth PD referred an additional charge of aggravated robbery. It says on January 1st at 6 p.m. So apparently the first couple of days of the new year, you started it out by picking up some allegations. With a robbery call at Spanish Hacienda apartment complex. Again, a woman sitting in her vehicle, waiting for her husband, who had run back inside of the apartment to retrieve something when she was approached by two black male suspects. Wearing all black, opened the driver's and passenger side of the doors, and the suspect who opened the driver's side was allegedly brandished a silver pistol and pointed it at her, ordering her to exit the vehicle or he would shoot her. Suspect who opened the passenger side door allegedly grabbed her by the arm and pulled her from the car. Both then entered the vehicle and drove off. And the next day, on January 2nd, the real-time crime center officers located the stolen vehicle using city cameras, locating it parked at a Lucky Mini Mart on East Rosedale. Two suspects matching the victim's description were seen on camera exiting the vehicle on that same day, and the other incident that I first described occurred. And you were identified by camera footage at Lucky Mini Mart, exiting the victim's vehicle in the January 1st offense. That was tested positive for marijuana when you came in on the 3rd. Okay, the case is set for April 5th after a recent pass. Well, Samuel, I have no reason to believe that you would not be likely to reoffend, and I don't believe I have a choice other than to continue to detain you. I would encourage you to behave back there to the best of your ability to help your lawyer, who is excellent. Help him help you. Did you have a question?
Do my mom have to use the translator that y'all give her, or she get her own translator?
Mr. Lofton, you know what kind of translator we're talking about?
I think, I don't know, but I'll call you right after this. I'll call you in the next 20 minutes.
Okay, your attorney will call you about that, and I think probation, if we need some sort of a translator, they know what to do, or some sort of an interpreter, they know what to do to get them here the next time.
My mom, she got her own translator, so.
All right, well, why don't you talk with Mr. Lofton about that, okay? There's some things that he needs to inform you about that. Thank you. Olivia Ortegan. Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. How are you, Mr. Beaver?
Great, Your Honor. Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. seat as a mom here for Olivia.
Yes.
Let's see. He's been here since March 11th. Let's see. Ooh, quite the, oh, the right one. Yeah, quite the report here. All right. Let's see, 11/15/20, her supervisor noted that, PO supervisor, that mom appeared for court and reported that Olivia had run away. And she reported to the police department since she was pregnant. Her mother did not reach out to the department because she was told she would receive a call. At home lives the mother, Olivia, and 5-month-old. Mother wants Olivia to return home so she can care for her son because mom works full time. Olivia has court on April 5th at 9:30. She tested positive for marijuana on March 11th when she came in. How was she brought back in? I don't have that information here.
Your Honor, I'm covering for Ms. Carrera. It was a DTA. The DTA was issued in November of 2019.
All right, and how was she picked up? Was it at her house, or where did they find her?
I believe it was at her house. I'm trying to get to that part.
Yeah, because there's no one issued that DTA way back November of 2019. She had pending offenses of what? Criminal trespass of a vehicle, aggravated robbery. Robbery, theft of property greater than 2,500, less than 30,000.
She was picked up in North Richland Hills. It doesn't state how they came in contact with her, but she was at a residence in North Richland Hills.
Okay, where does her mom live?
I have an address in Dallas.
Okay.
That's the baby's family. That's where they live.
Whose family?
Her baby, my grandbaby.
So her child's father's family lives there?
Yeah, they live in North Richland Hills. And I believe they were on their way to the store when they got pulled over and her warrant came out.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's what happens. I mean, based on the DTA was issued over a year ago for her. And the only reason she was caught is because of a traffic stop. So I have no reason to believe that she would return to the court on April 5th, like she's supposed to. So I'm going to continue to keep her detained. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, Mr. Beaver.
Thank you for coming.
Ricky Promise. Why do I know this name? Oh. Mr. Promise. I'm Judge Terry. This is your detention hearing. As you know, the law says that once you've been brought in, you have a right to a detention hearing within 2 business days. And the purpose is to determine whether you can be released back into the community to a parent or guardian, or if you should continue to be detained. You have a right to remain silent, and you have a right to an attorney. Your attorney is Leslie Barrows. I don't see Ms. Barrows here, so.
Your Honor, I actually had him on the underlying case, so I know Ricky pretty well. Do you want me to just try to fill in?
Well, I've got Mr. Mooney here today, but I mean, if you wanna, I think that would probably make sense since you know Ricky. Is that okay with you, Mr. Mooney? You're muted, sir. No, he's not. All right, let's go ahead and do that, Ms. Perkins.
Thank you, Judge.
Right. So let's see, Ricky. I know your name, which is not good. You are definitely currently on probation here, but you did test negative for all substances when you were brought in yesterday. But just on March 17th, like last week, St. Patrick's Day, Judge Porter ordered you into placement at Woodward Academy. He also extended your probation until your 18th birthday. He allowed you to return home with your mom on an EM while waiting for documents to be sent through Interstate Compact. Oh, so he was very generous with that. Once the approval from Interstate Compact was confirmed, you were ordered by Judge Porter to turn yourself in to detention to begin to quarantine before leaving for placement. And I know Judge Porter, and I wasn't there at your hearing, but I'm pretty sure he was extremely thorough with what he expected of you and with his orders. In 2020, you were placed on probation for indecency with a child sexual contact. And then got probation with placement was for evading arrest detention. And then you had some other offenses that were waived or non-suited as part of that deal.
Judge, he just came in yesterday to begin his quarantine period because the Interstate Compact document or approval was confirmed.
Oh, okay. My understanding, I thought he was brought back in on a violation.
No, ma'am. No,
I am sorry. I wish you would have interrupted me sooner.
Yeah, I didn't think we were going to be doing a detention hearing. I just learned that here recently myself.
Yeah, and so I apologize profusely, Mr. Promise, because the information I had in front of me appeared as if you had picked up a new offense already. So I apologize. And so, yes, you've begun your quarantine period, and then you are to go to placement. And so, let's see. You're 15. Get this out of the way now. Be successful at your placement and don't come back, okay?
All right.
All right. Good luck. Thank you. I do have to detain you, obviously.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right. Keenan Sims. Ms. Knowles,
Your Honor?
I saw her in the courthouse. Yes.
I'm covering for Mr. Reyes.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Curl wanted me to inform the court that she will be interpreting for the mother. Mom is using a sign language, and Ms. Curl is on the phone with.
The purpose of this hearing is to determine whether or not you should be released back into the community to a parent or guardian, or if I should continue to detain you. You have a right to remain silent, and you have a right to an attorney. Your attorney is Violet Newell-Kate. I thought I saw her in the courthouse. All right, so you were brought. Was he picked up at his house?
I'm not sure, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
I'm not sure, Your Honor.
Where were you picked up, Mr. Sims?
Yesterday, it was I think it was yesterday or
Where were you picked up?
3610 across drive.
Okay, is that a friend's house or whose house is that?
It's an apartment, so it was an incident that night, and the laws came.
Okay. And so they found out you had a DTA, obviously, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so POAS wants to refer you for a substance abuse assessment, which I think is a fantastic idea. Possibly participate in psych eval for placement purposes, maybe. And he's asking that you be detained. You were positive for marijuana when you came in. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I think you're just. Is there a parent or guardian here for him today?
Yes, his mother's.
Okay.
Sitting next to her, Judge Terry.
Yes.
Mom is disabled, so I'm writing out some things for her.
Okay.
Did you have a question for her specifically?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking that Mr. Sims is just kind of taking advantage of mom just running around doing whatever. But see, Mr. Sims, you're on probation. In order to successfully complete that, I have to know that you've got the support and everything you need. If it's not happening and you're just running wild out there, you're going to possibly end up violating and making things worse for yourself. You're 17 years old. Do you know where you're going next time you pick up an offense? You want to go to Tarrant County Jail and just be in the adult system? All right, so you're back here, you're 17 years old in 5 months. So I would encourage you to have the utmost outstanding behavior, level 1 outstanding completely all the time. Because if you don't, see, we need room here for other kids, and Judge Kim is likely to send you down to the Tarrant County Jail while your offenses are pending, okay? So if you want to stay here and not go to Tarrant County Jail while you're waiting, you need to keep your behavior levels up. I think while he's here, we need to see if we can get Mom in and get everything set up for him. Okay, Mr. Mitchell, if you can let Mr. Reyes know that.
Yes, ma'am.
And try to, I don't know if she needs some sort of help or something, but while she's here in the building, see if we can get something going. And while he's here in detention, but I'm going to go ahead and keep you detained, Mr. Sims. I'm concerned that you don't have, proper supervision at home, or that you refuse to accept it, actually. And you are on your way to some serious probation violations if I don't help you pump the brakes. So I'm going to continue to detain you for now. Thank you.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, thank you.
She felt like he was taking the situation at home.
Yeah. What's his name? Is it DPPing today? Unless the DPP is signed, if they want to bring me the DPP, you know what I mean? Then we don't need to do it. But okay. Let's see. Jaqueline Spencer.
Good morning, Judge.
Oh, good morning, Ms. Herrick. Hi, Jaqueline. I'm Judge Terry. This is your 10-day detention hearing, and the purpose of this hearing, as you know, is to determine whether I can release you to a parent or guardian, or if I should keep you here detained. You have a right to remain silent, and you have a right to your attorney. Your attorney is Ms. Herrick, and she is here on Zoom with us.
Hi, Jaqueline.
I got a question.
Okay, hold
I'll
on.
call you later. I'll call you later.
Let's see. Is there a parent or guardian here for Jaqueline?
No, ma'am, she couldn't be present today.
Okay, thank you. And let's see. He has been here for a very long time. Let's see. He was referred in custody by Arlington PD for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon warrant from Fort Worth PD in possession of marijuana on November 8th. In the morning, Arlington PD were dispatched to a residence where he was located and had a warrant for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon out of Fort Worth. Police arrived and detained him. As he was being detained, they found a small amount of marijuana in his pocket. According to the warrant that was out back on May 9th of 2020, police were dispatched to a shooting at Regency Oak Apartments. Police arrived and located the victim laying in the parking lot. He had a gunshot wound in his upper left leg, causing a tear in his femoral artery and damage to his left testicle. Oh yeah, this is the guy that had to have his leg amputated. I forgot about that. Okay. One of the victim's friends, a witness, reported that when they arrived at the apartments, the victim and a group of black males began arguing, that the victim was trying to fight them. The young black male exited a vehicle and approached the victim with an AK-style rifle. Black male then shot one time into the ground and then shot the victim in the leg. Victim's friends left the victim lying in the parking lot. Some friends. Another witness identifies the shooter as Q. Police spoke to a woman who advised that her son admitted to the shooting the victim, and he goes by Q. She identified him as Jaqueline Spencer. His mother and sister told the police that she had told them the victim thought he could beat Jaqueline up and wanted to rob him. Jaqueline admitted to shooting the victim and then fled to Grandma's house. Jaqueline told Mom that he would shoot her if she told the police.
That last part is something that Jaqueline's very adamant didn't happen.
I hope not. If you can talk to your mom that way, you would shoot anybody or do anything to anybody. Let's see. On December 21st, 2020, Jaqueline was referred out of custody by Tarrant County Sheriff's Office for assault causes bodily injury. which occurred when he was in detention. According to that police report, on the 4th of December 2020, deputy was dispatched to our juvenile detention center in reference to an assault charge. When officers arrived and met with staff and viewed video footage. In the video, Spencer was walking immediately behind the victim, and Spencer suddenly dropped his jacket and hit the victim several times before staff intervened. The victim did not try to defend himself, and the attack appeared to be unprovoked. Officer interviewed both the victim and Spencer. Spencer admitted to assaulting the victim, as the two had been having words. No injuries were observed. So the defendant had been here a month and before he did that. He's scheduled for a determined sentence hearing on Tuesday before Judge Kim. Well, Kaylin, you're level 2 acceptable. And knowing that you have Judge Kim coming up next week, I would hope that you would be on level 1 outstanding and be there as long as you possibly can before your hearing goes. Fact that you were, I have no reason to believe that you would return to court on 30th if I were to release you. And so I need to continue to detain you. Thank you.
Jaqueline has a question. Jaqueline, is your question for me or for the judge?
Really for both of y'all. I thought I had the indeterminate sentence because the court paper issue.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
You're good. Don't worry.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I just have the information that's in front of me, Jaqueline. So if your attorney's working on something else, good for you. All right?
Thank you.
Everything I told you before is the same, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Angel Salazar.
Torres. Hey, I need Torres. He's on his way, man.
Your Honor, he was having some issues with another young man, so we were keeping him separated, but he's on his way.
He was having some issues with who?
He's on do not associate with another juvenile, but we've taken care of it. Here he is, man.
I don't think you can get much lower than level 3 confined, but hi, Angel. I'm Judge Terry. This is your 10-day detention hearing, and the purpose of this hearing is to determine whether I can release you to a parent or guardian, or if I should keep you here detained. You have a right to remain silent, and you have a right to an attorney, and your attorney is on Zoom here with us, Mr. Sierra, who I've seen live today, and now I see him on Zoom. So, all right. You are level 3 confined, and you are here with pending offenses of evading arrest, detention with the vehicle, unauthorized use of vehicle, theft of property, greater than $2,500 but less than $30,000. Previous, let's see. Burglary of a building also pending. Throughout 2020. Well, as you know, Angel, probable causes previously been found. Then offense had been committed, several offenses had been committed, and you were the one who committed them. You're positive for marijuana when you came back in on the 27th of January. You were scheduled for court on the 1st of April. And based on your pattern, I think you're likely to reoffend if you were to be released into the community. And look at your behavior level. You don't even care. Because you've been here since the end of January. And not only are you level 3 confined for the last couple days, but you make everyone wait on you because you're having do not associate issues. So I hope somehow you can do a complete 180. But I don't know. I just have to keep you detained because you're not anywhere near ready to be released. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to release somebody today. They're not making it very easy. Ernesto Villa.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, hi, Ernesto. I'm Judge Terry. This is your 10-day detention hearing. And the purpose of this hearing is to determine whether I can release you to a parent or guardian, or if I should keep you here detained. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Your attorney is Mr. Sierra, and he's here on Zoom with us. And is there a parent or guardian here?
Your Honor, I don't believe she's here. She said she tried to step away from her job to log in on Zoom. She sometimes isn't able to. Occasionally, she'll have her adult daughter to get on, but I don't see her either.
That's all right. She's got an earn a living. So let's see. He was brought in on February 24th again. You're on probation. Well, you tested positive for marijuana when you came in. You are on probation. Placed in probation in May of 2019 for unauthorized use of vehicles. You had JPD was very gracious with you 2 years before that on 3 other offenses. Placed on probation in January 2020 for theft from a person. Motion to modify your original probation. So your probation was extended because of that back in October of 2020. This last week, you were set to appear before Judge Porter for a hearing, but that hearing was passed because Judge Porter has ordered a placement search for you. He had to issue a DTA for you way back in November. They didn't even catch up with you until February 24th in Arlington at a residence, and that's when Arlington PD found you and brought you in here. Says you've been level 1 outstanding for a while since you've been here, basically, so you're smart to do that. But I have zero faith that you would return to court if you were to be released, and I think it's a good idea for you to sit and wait to your next court date, at least, which is April 5th.
Judge,
Yes,
may I make a comment for the court?
sure.
Your Honor, Mr. Villa has been recommended by the state to go to TJJD. And we respectfully ask that if you would please reconsider in releasing him, if mom can pick him up after work with a consideration so that we can adequately prepare for his adjudication hearing. I don't need to tell you that it's a lot easier to do it while he's out as opposed to being in.
I completely understand that, and I actually feel for you, Mr. Sierra, having to deal with him. Problem I have with him is, where are we at in the placement search? I mean, it's only been a week, but do we know anything yet?
Your Honor, I was speaking with the placement officer earlier today. They're still attempting to locate a placement. We began a placement search back in August of 2020, prior to his most recent modification hearing in November. No placement facilities would accept him that our placement unit was attempting to, due to some medical issues, his substance abuse and his runaway history. I'm concerned that that will still be a problem in the future, but our placement unit is trying to locate a placement.
Well, substance abuse, marijuana, that's like pretty common with all of our kids, and they take placement all the time.
He was tested positive for substance this time, for marijuana this time. Previous detainments, he had other narcotics in his system.
Okay, well, those aren't on the report, so I didn't know that. Okay. That's the thing, is he's likely to, Mr. Sierra, I'm concerned that he would run again. And look how long it took to even catch up with them. So I did reconsider, and I do think I need to continue to detain him. So thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, do not bring the next child in at this time. The remaining juveniles on the docket are under the age of 14, and pursuant to Texas Family Code 54.08C, when a child is under the age of 14 at the time of the proceedings, the court shall close the hearing to the public unless the court can make a finding that it is in the child's best interest or the best interest of the public would better be served by keeping the hearing open to the public. Looking at the children who are on the remaining part of the detention docket, the court cannot make such a finding. And so the live stream to YouTube will be turned off at this time. It'll be about a 20-second burn off, so we can have about 20 seconds of silence before we proceed.
Your Honor, before you go, can I make a statement?
Sure.
On Dinah Garger, the young lady's in person. You have
Yes.
Mr. Allen Branch, a detective from Arlington. He's on Zoom. He wanted to be a part of her.
Okay. If you're an officer of the court or you have something remaining on today's docket, you can remain in here. I'm looking at everybody else. Bat consoles, detention, court coordinator. It looks like everybody here is either an officer of the court or has business to continue on the detention docket, and so that is fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, I know. I'll keep the Zoom open, but off YouTube only for for Detective. Detective, could you please put your name, your full name on there so I know, and your title on your Zoom? Thank you.
Let me see if I can get that done.
Okay, we need about 20 seconds silent before we can burn off, before we can turn off YouTube, please.
Courts. All right, good morning, everyone. This is the detention docket for the 323rd District Court for Monday, February 22nd, 2021. Compliance with the 33rd emergency order from the Texas Supreme Court, we are not conducting in-person proceedings. However, we are using Zoom in order to give the public meaningful access to open courts. We are broadcasting these proceedings on YouTube. I'd like to remind everyone this is still a court proceeding, so people are expected to behave appropriately for court. So that means please be dressed appropriately and behave appropriately. Do not have bright lights behind your head, as that tends to shadow out your face. Please do not have a moving background like being in a vehicle or on the jogging trail. Please do not use the lavatory or take showers during court. Please restrain your domesticated animals during these court proceedings. You're also, if you are not an officer of the court, expected to be on camera, behaving appropriately for court. We do not want to look at ceilings or blank empty spaces, such as the closet door. So LG K40, you do need to be here on camera. If you are an officer of the court, of course, as you find appropriate, please feel free to turn off your camera if necessary. I'm now going to close the waiting room or enable the waiting room. So Sherry Tajani / Cole, please turn on your camera. Sherry Tajani Cole, please turn on your camera. Thank you. So Ms. Cole, please move the camera to a place where you don't have a bright light behind you, as that tends to shadow out your face. Okay, so at this point, we are doing I don't know if you received the emails, but we're going to do all the original initial detention hearings first today, and then we'll return at 1:30 for the 10-day hearings. So, all right, so we're going to start with Ebony Ortiz. Ebony Ortiz.
Hey, Judge.
Yes.
Detention intake was having some technical difficulties, so I'm not sure if they're on yet.
Okay, is that all of them or just the?
No, that's the caseworker for Miss Ortiz. She's actually with Miss Kelly's unit.
Talk to you, you refused to give name, confirm your identity. Your dad claimed not to know you, and he was just there to wash his clothes. So the officer kept on investigating, and he spoke about being your dad. When he started to ask about you, he said he didn't know your name, but then confirmed your name was Ebony, and said he had been helping you since you ran away from mom back in November. And so Dad said he knew you were a runaway, but he was still harboring you. All right, and so you're a runaway. You understand the situation that I'm in. All right, if you're a runaway, the law says you have to be with a parent, and that's not necessary. And here's the thing, Ebony, it may not be with the best parent for you. It may not be with the parent that you want, but the law is the law. When a court orders something, you just have to follow the law. All right, so I know you didn't want to be here, especially over the last week, but we didn't have a choice. We weren't going to release you. I'm going to release you to CPS to come and get you to return you back to your mom. Okay. So if you've got issues going on, you should have a guardian ad litem appointed to your case. Talk to that attorney. They may be able to help you resolve any kind of conflict, but we just can't have you running away. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Ebony. Dacian Snyder.
Copy, Your Honor. Just give us 1 second on Mr. Snyder. He was further down my docket.
All right, thank you. How's that further down the slide? Oh, really?
Judge Kim,
Yes.
I'm finally able to be on the Zoom. I apologize. I had technical issues and IT just fixed my computer.
Okay.
I can answer any questions regarding Ebony Ortiz, and I also have Mr. Dacian Snyder.
Okay. Yeah, so Ortiz, I'm just going to detain until CPS picks up.
They're about to be in the facility to pick up the child.
Okay, thank you, Polly.
Yes, sir. Now, in regards to Dacian,
we're waiting. They still haven't brought him over.
We're waiting on him. Yes, thank you.
We have him, sir.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Snyder, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child's brought to a facility, you have to see a judge within 3 days. I have to decide whether to keep, or 2 business days. Decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. You're here. So you're 15 years old. You're on TJJD parole, and there's a warrant out of TJJD for you. Yeah, they're saying that you've been vandalizing your mom's home by kicking and punching holes in the wall, threatening more, and she doesn't feel safe in her own home. So, Paulina, where's he on parole? Where's this case out of that he was committed from?
I know he has prior history with us. I am not sure where he was committed from. I can check in the chronological notes. It could be us, but I'm not sure at the moment. Where
Judge, he told me, Judge, is Frank, I was his guardian too. He told me he was on out of Tarrant County, is what he told me. Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, so he's on parole for ag assault with a deadly weapon of a family member.
Yes.
And now he is managed in 5 days to drop down to level 3. So, Dacian, I hope you realize, I mean, I'm going to hold you because TJJD has a warrant for you. I hope you realize that before your I don't know how long your sentence is, but before your 19th birthday, it's likely we're going to have a hearing. I'm going to decide whether to send you to adult prison or not. And so your detention records while you're here from last week will come back to that hearing. So everything that you do, there's a level of accountability. So I hope you make good decisions. Either way, I'm detaining you until TJJD picks you up. Thank you, Mr. Snyder. All right, Ajathin Austin.
Yes, Your Honor.
Morning, Your Honor.
Morning, Mr. Schumer. Ajathin, Judge Kim, this is a detention hearing. Law says when a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you, release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And Mr. Shoemaker, your attorney, is here. So let's see. Back in December, Fort Worth PD brought you in for a robbery call. They were working at AT&T store. People entered the store, pointed a gun, demanded the cell phones, went to the safe. They took 10 iPhone 12s and 10 iPhone 12 minis and the victim's phone. FBI tracked the phone to Dallas, and you were brought over here through Fort Worth PD. Evidently, either I or another judge let you go out of here, and then we issued a warrant for you that your guardian said that you were no longer working the house since you were making inappropriate advancements towards his daughter. So, all right, well, Ajathin, at this point, Mr. Shumik, do you have
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
any ideas where you can go?
Yes, sir. We just got a new, I don't want to say idea, location with another relative. I just received that information literally a few minutes before this hearing. Personally, I would like to investigate that myself. And then if it's acceptable, then I will get Ms. Guerrero in touch with that person. And then they can have a conversation and hopefully, if that place is acceptable with everybody, then we could even, notify the court however the court deems necessary.
Right, okay, so Ms. Guerrero, we gave him a drug test when he came back in. He was clean, correct?
That is correct, Judge.
Okay. All right, so at this point, Mr. Shoemaker, you just want to hold off until you can make a decision on whether it's appropriate for him to go there or not?
Yes, sir. And then I will be in touch with Ms. Guerrero.
Let's go ahead and do that. Do we have a parent here for Mr. Austin?
I don't believe so. His sister is 18 and she was the legal guardian, but not at this time.
Mr. Shoemaker, I just have to check a box.
Yes,
Judge, Miss Cole is here. That's his guardian.
Oh, Ms. Cole, are you here? Ms. Cole?
She was here a few minutes ago. She's on, Judge.
I'm here, Judge Kim.
Okay, there we are. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. Mr. Shoemaker, I'm going to go and detain him for now, but since he came in,
Seriously, is that Darth Vader? In the top right beside Judge Kim? I'm a little worried. Oh my gosh. Okay. I am going to keep playing it. We will see where this goes.
in with the person taking custody of him and he was clean, I'm okay releasing him at any point. If you just let my coordinators know that you found an appropriate place for him, I'll go ahead and sign a release order. So that's just let us know. I just think this has to do with you not smoking weed or using drugs while you're out. And it seems like you didn't break any laws. You just created an uncomfortable situation where you were. So I'm willing to release you back to the community. I don't think you committed a new offense. I don't think you broke the law or the conditions of your release. This is just a situation of finding a good place for you. So I'm only holding you long enough it takes to find a safe place for you to go. Safe for you and safe for the community, okay?
Yes, sir.
So but if you get dropped down on your levels, because you're level 1-0, if you drop down, this deal's off, right?
All right.
So you got to keep that level 1-0, and that way your attorney holds the keys to get you out of here whenever. But if you drop down behavior levels, we have to revisit this, okay?
Yes,
so
sir.
just keep on doing the right thing. Mr. Shoemake, just make sure the person who's actually taking possession of the child understands if he runs off and fails to appear for court, the court can issue a warrant for their arrest.
Yes, sir.
Going to bring him to court. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Byron Beasley.
Down the way right now, sir.
All right, Mr. Beasley, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 days, 2 business days, and I have to decide whether to keep you here. Will you see if I keep you here? You'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney, and we have appointed Mr. Adniji as your attorney. Mr. Adniji, are you here this morning? I don't think I saw him yet. All right, Ms. Hopkins, I'm going to ask you to step in.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. All right, so Byron, let's see, you're 15 years old. You came in for an assault case back in February of 2019, which you got a supervisory caution for. And now, let's see, on Valentine's Day, police were dispatched a robbery call at a 7-Eleven. When they got there, witnesses pointed the police in the directions where the suspects ran. Saw about 6 males matching the description, standing in the Kroger parking lot, right behind the 7-Eleven. 5 took off running when they saw the police. Police gave chase, told them to stop, and detained them all. Suspects had on them what had been taken from the 7-Eleven, including alcohol and candy. 2 clerks told the police that 6 came into the store, went to the restroom, came out, and all of them left. Short time later, all returned and entered the one-person restroom. Clerks could hear the air dryer working, told them they need to leave. They weren't going to buy anything. One of the suspects told the clerks he was going to knock his bitch ass out. The clerk said he can call the police. One of the suspects said he would kill the clerk and the cops too. At that time, they began to assault the 2 clerks, hitting them each 2 to 3 times in the face, grabbed a bunch of items and left. They returned, said it would take the police a long time to arrive due to the weather, and stole some more items from the store. Well, you know, this kind of group gang activity is something that really concerns me. Do we have a parent here for Mr. Beasley?
Yes, Your Honor. She's in the lobby.
I'm right here.
Oh, okay. So mom's there.
There you are.
All right. So mom, well, check something. What was he doing out last Sunday at 11:30 when the cold was coming in?
He was out with some kids walking around.
But why was he outside the home?
I have no idea. And it's because I actually was told he was spending the night at one of the little boys' house that he was with. And the mom came and I'm not gonna say he was out. He was. The mom came and got them because they had went to the skate ring Friday, and she came back and got them to spend the night. He spent the night at our house Friday, and Byron was supposed to be at her house Saturday. And like this is, I mean, I know you said you see something in February with him, but this is not his behavior at all. Byron goes in the school and he lives in Everman with my mom.
Okay, so mom, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but this is his behavior.
Well,
Mom, you can't say it's not his behavior at all because evidently it is his behavior. So I'm at this point with this kind of activity, he does. So what I'm saying is he's not getting the supervision that he needs, not because you're not trying to do it, but it may be because he's refusing to take your supervision. At this point, I'm concerned about this type of organized activity, especially when he has a history of assaultive behavior. So
he had a fight February was a fight he had at school. It wasn't like he was at school and some little boy spit on him or something and they had a fight. Both of them.
Okay.
And that's what happened with that. It wasn't like, it's not like he had.
That is still a history of assaultive behavior, and it sounds like you're enabling your child.
No, I'm not. No. I'm not making it seem like it's okay. I'm just letting you know.
You're telling me he's a good kid, he doesn't do things like this, that somebody spit on him, so he's justified in the fight. I don't know what's going on, but he has a history of violence, and I don't like the violence.
He is a follower, and he has a problem with getting in the wrong group with people.
No, why isn't he following you? Why isn't he listening to you? Why isn't he paying attention to your rules?
Well, I was telling you that he lives with my mom in Everman because he goes to school in Everman, and he goes in school. And when he come home on the weekend, he's been over at my mom's house by himself all week. And so, I mean, He a boy, you know, so I never would justify anything that he's doing is right because I'm very disappointed with him because that's not him. Because I have a son that's there, that's the one that cuts up, and that one right here is not him. I'm telling you.
That doesn't help me feel comfortable about 6 boys coming in, ganging up on 2 employees, stealing things, then coming back, saying the police aren't going to be here and stealing more, and then running from the police. So he's not a good boy. That's the problem, Mom. You have to understand, he's not a good boy. Good boys don't run from the cops when they say stop. So anyways, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and detain you, Byron, and then I'll make a decision later on, but I'm not comfortable yet releasing you. Thank you. Jamal Briscoe. Amadeus Jones, yes, thank you. All right, Mr. Briscoe, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, we'll provide one for you. Mr. Daniels is your appointed attorney. Good morning, Mr. Daniels.
Good morning, Judge.
So, Mr. Briscoe, this is also with the 7-Eleven, came in, went to the bathroom, hid, assaulted the clerk, left, came back, said the police aren't going to show up, and so went to the Kroger parking lot and ran from the police. And you have no history of this department. All right, so Mom, your mom?
Yes, sir.
All right, so my question is, why was he out at 2 o'clock or 11:30 at night, Sunday night?
So he told me he was staying the night with a friend. I usually track his phone. I have GPS on his phone. This is not him. This is him with the crowd he ran with. And I usually check it. He told me he was staying the night with a friend. I don't let my kids out after 9 o'clock.
So what?
That's why him staying the night with a friend, that's where he was supposed to be at.
All right, which friend was he supposed to be at?
He was supposed to be with Byron, the one you had before this.
Did they go to school together?
They did back in 7th grade. They all live in the same apartment complex as us. Well, his mom does.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure this out. So Sunday night, Valentine's Day, that's when this storm was about to roll in.
Right.
And it's supposed to be freezing rain and snow and everything. Why were you letting him spend the night at a friend's house?
He'd been staying there all weekend. Like they stayed back and forth. And like I said, I track his phone. So usually before I go to bed, I check his location because I know where everybody lives. And that's where he was supposed to be at. But I didn't check it that night. I fell asleep. And he was out when he wasn't supposed to. That he knew he wasn't supposed to because I have strict orders at my house. My kids don't go outside after 9 o'clock. No kids knock on my door after 9 o'clock. But I said, this isn't him. He's never been in trouble.
You can't, so you saw the previous hearing. You can't tell me it's not him.
Yeah, I understand. No, I understand. He knows what he's doing.
Mr. Jones, you can't walk around during court. Amadeus Jones, you cannot walk around during court. This is court. It's not exercise time.
But like I've told him, if he's released, I've already confiscated all the social medias. I've deactivated all those. He will not have his phone. He's not leaving my house. No kids are to knock on my door. I have 2 other kids to think about. So there's no nothing. He's going virtual on school. There's not even going back on campus. He's going virtual on school.
Your son smoke weed?
Not that I know of. I mean, that's what he does when he's outside running to his friends. I can't justify for him.
Permission to give him a drug test?
I'm sorry?
Can I have your permission to give him a drug test?
You sure can.
Okay. So, Jamal, this is what I'm going to do. I'm liking the level of supervision your mom is saying she's going to provide, so I'm going to do this. I'm okay with the idea of releasing you. However, I'm going to ask you a question. Don't answer the question yet. The question I'm going to ask you is, if I give you a drug test, are you going to be clean or dirty? Now, before you answer that question, there are 3 ways this works out. One way is you tell me that you're clean. We'll put you on an EM and I'll release it to your mom and you go home today. The second option is that you tell me that you are dirty, that we test you, we find out what you're dirty for, and then I'm gonna hold you. Yeah, as long as you keep level 1 outstanding for 3 more days, then I'll go and release you on electronic monitor to your mom. However, if you tell me that you're clean and you're actually dirty, I'm just gonna keep you and decide later on when to release you. So, that being said, my question for you is, if I give you a drug test, are you gonna be clean or dirty?
I'm gonna be dirty, sir.
Okay, what are you gonna be dirty for?
Marijuana.
Okay. And so, mom, that's a conversation you may want to have with your son to figure out how much he's been using, where he's getting it from, all these things. That's not my business right now.
Yes, sir.
I don't think those are appropriate questions for a judge to ask, but I certainly think they are appropriate for a mother to ask. Okay?
Oh, yeah, there'll be a
So
lot.
we're gonna go ahead and detain him. Who's the probation officer? Juan Lahara.
Yes,
So
Your Honor.
72 hours. As long as he keeps the level 1L, we'll go ahead and release him on electronic monitor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And we'll give him a drug test because if he's dirty for anything else, then we're gonna go ahead and keep him longer. Okay?
Okay. Yes.
All right.
we will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Alexander Hernandez.
He's on his way, sir.
If you wanna.
For Mr. Juan in the lobby.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention. The law says when a child's brought to a facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. We have appointed Mr. Masek as your attorney for this case. Good morning, Mr. I thought I saw Mr. Masek. Is he here? Oh, there we are.
Right here.
Good morning. All right. So, Mr. Hernandez, you are on probation for evading arrest of a motor vehicle from last August and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. And in November, we issued a warrant for you for violating your EM and taking it off. And we finally caught up with you. And we finally caught up with you. You got arrested last week and you tested positive for marijuana while you're on probation. Well, so Ms. Lopez, my question for you is, you got on probation in October, and a month later, he cut off his EM.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your note saying that he just started probation, so he had not engaged in counseling. How long would it take to engage in counseling?
As I'm hoping in the next few days, Your Honor, if he's released, he just cut it off. He also will have a substance abuse. He tested positive and has not had a substance abuse done yet, referral.
So I guess my question is, it was a month that he was on probation and he still hadn't started counseling. How long does it take to start counseling?
The referral was made from intake, Your Honor, and they had made contact, to my understanding, and they were going out to the homes because of the COVID, and he had started the actual intake, but then he took off the monitor and ran.
So literally, we didn't start counseling yet. We didn't do the evaluation yet because of COVID. So literally, the only thing he had to do was not cut off his monitor.
Right, Your Honor. He was going to school and he did start on his community service, but then he just one day randomly cut it off.
Yep. Well, Mr. Hernandez, do we have a parent here for Mr. Hernandez?
She was trying to log on, Your Honor, from home, but I don't see her.
Okay. Well, there's people in the waiting room that if they're late to court, then I don't let them in. So, all right, Mr. Hernandez, this is just part of the deal. You cut off your monitor. There's consequence for that. So we'll see you at a 10-day hearing, decide whether to release you or keep you here. So
thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I'll give you
Cameron Jackson. Thank you, Mr. Masek.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Jackson, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. I'm deciding whether to keep you or release you. The law says when a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 business days to decide what to do with you. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. We have appointed Mr. Shaw as your attorney. I think I saw Mr. Shaw earlier.
I'm here.
Good morning, Mr. Shaw.
Good morning.
The beer's coming in nicely.
It's about 6 months.
COVID beard. All right, so Mr. Jackson, let's see, you're 16 years old. Oh, wow. Let's go over your history. So you just turned 14 years old. You pick up a weed case. You get out 3 months later. You get arrested for 2 counts of burglary of a vehicle. You get out. I guess you're placed on probation. Maybe you get arrested for a burglary of a vehicle a month later. You're released from here. About 10 days later, you're arrested for giving fake info to a police officer and for graffiti. Then you get out, get released. About a week later, you're arrested for felony theft from a person. And evidently you were released. And 4 days later, you get arrested for, I think, stealing a car and criminal trespass and unauthorized use of motor vehicle. I guess you're released. 5 days later, you get arrested for evading arrest and stealing a car. You're released. That one you're on probation for. You get released, we issue a warrant for you. So you go about 6 months before you get arrested again for evading arrest. At this point, you are 15 years old, which the DA dismissed that case. 5 months go by, you get arrested for assaulting a security officer, and you're released about 4 months later, arrested for criminal trespass. So, I guess in May of last year, you absconded, and you absconded for 9 months. And the PO called you, told you that you need to come forward, and you just disregarded the probation officer.
Can I say something real quick?
Now, hold on. Try to contact the family. You made contact with grandmother, who is very pleasant, trying to help. But she's saying she cannot force you to do anything that you did not want to do. And you actually missed court, the last court setting. And while you're out there not reporting on probation, you're also smoking weed. So I'm not sure. I'm just going to, I know you want to say something. Do we have a parent here?
No, Judge. Actually, grandmother is currently en route. I was actually expecting that maybe she would have arrived by now because she has been diligently on her way.
I think we talked about her. We really like grandma. All right, so Mr. Jackson, you have the right to remain silent. I've made my decision. There's nothing you really can say to change my mind. If you have a question for me, then I'm happy to answer your question. But if you want to tell me something, me and your attorney both do not want you to tell me anything. All right. So do you have a question for me, or do you want to tell me something?
I need to tell you something.
All right. You don't want to tell me anything. All right. Your
No, I
attorney.
do. I need
Hold
to.
on, Mr. Shaw, is that correct? You don't want him to tell me anything?
No.
Like, there's nothing you can say. You could tell me that aliens abducted you and prevented you from showing up, and I would still detain you. Because I'm afraid aliens will show up and abduct you again to keep you from showing up at court. But you can't miss court, all right?
I had no choice.
Oh, hold on. That's something for you to tell your attorney, all right?
I ain't talked to him, stop being here, bro. Like,
Well, I ain't your bro.
no, I wasn't telling you that. I'm just saying, like,
No, you are calling me that, and I ain't your bro, all right? I'm the judge. So I'm going to go and detain you, Mr. Jackson. Zenyana Johnson.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you, Miss Young.
Thank you.
Ms. Young, before you come?
Yes.
Is he like this with you?
Actually, no. Normally, when I've had opportunity to connect with him on a more positive level, he's always very respectful.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Zanaya Johnson. Zanaya, are you here?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought into our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. 2 business days, I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you here, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Can't afford one, we'll provide one for you. We have appointed. I'm sorry? Okay. So, Ms. Hopkins, I'm going to ask you to fill in. We forgot to appoint an attorney before the hearing. All right, Ms. Hopkins, are you there?
Sir?
Okay, good morning. All right, so Ms. Johnson, back on Valentine's Day, they were dispatched to Millwood for a male resident damaging.
Found the new Good Morning routine.
Google kicked in. All right. So, male resident damaging nurse's area. When they got there, confronted the male suspect, detained him. But during that process, Zanaya started yelling at the police and tried to interfere. Nurse started holding her back when an officer stood next to them. Then she spit on the officer, hitting him on the cheek. Then she kicked him in the groin, causing pain. She was detained and brought over here. So she's in CPS custody out of Dallas County. We have CPS here for Ms. Johnson.
Your Honor, I left a message for her caseworker and I emailed her the Zoom link, but I have not had any contact with the CPS worker.
Do you know what her status with the department is?
No, sir, I do not.
All right, so let's set this, Ms. Brazel, let's set this for tomorrow for in-person detention hearing. All right, and so I'm going to detain you, Ms. Johnson, because CPS is involved in your case, but they need to show up, and they just need to show up. And so we're going to set this for in-person. If they don't show up, then we'll forcibly bring them here. All right, so we'll see. Ms. Johnson, I'm detaining you for now, but then we'll go ahead and see you tomorrow. All right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Jones. Mr. Jones, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid is brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you here or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. If you can't afford one, we'll provide one for you. Your attorney on this case is Ms. Johnson. Carmen, how are you? Carmen, I saw you earlier. Carmen, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
Do you not see me?
I do now. I couldn't hear you before. So, Mr. Jones, this is, let's see, you're 15 years old. You've never been here before. This is 7-Eleven case. Hit the clerks, stole alcohol and candy, came back, stole again, seeing the police aren't going to show up, and ran from the police. So, in this Mrs. Rojas case, I guess we have mom and dad here. All right, so, are you mom and dad?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's figure out. First question is, what was he doing out at 11:30 at night?
Spending the night over a friend's house.
I beg your pardon?
He was supposed to be spending the night at a friend's house.
Okay, which friend?
Cameron.
Cameron's house. Where does Cameron live?
I don't know the exact address, but it's on the southwest side off of 35. In between Sycamore School Road and Alta Mesa.
All right, but that was the night right before that big storm was coming in on Monday.
Yes, sir.
So I guess my question is, why would you let your son sleep at somebody else's house knowing that big storm is coming in?
Well, he was already over there from the day before.
I mean, why wouldn't you pick him up, right?
Well, that's my fiance's best friend, so I didn't see a problem with it.
Okay, fiance's best friend. That makes sense. All right, so, but he wasn't over there at Cameron's, right? He went someplace else. Do we know how he went there?
I don't even, probably by foot.
I beg your pardon?
Probably by foot. I don't even know.
I haven't found that information out yet.
This is my concern. Are you the fiance?
Yes.
Okay. So this is my concern is, I mean, I understand if you're having your son staying with your best friend, but somehow your best friend, it looks like she failed you by letting these kids go out somewhere else. Ms. Rojas, where was this offense? Which 7-Eleven was this? Like what part of town?
Oh, he asked me.
Sorry, I don't have that information on my offense report. But
Your Honor, it's Dana. It was on Camp Bowie, West Camp Bowie Boulevard.
Okay. All right.
Thanks,
So
Dana.
fiance, I guess here's the thing. If he's supposed to be in South Fort Worth and ends up over in West Fort Worth, like, didn't your best friend tell you that they're gone?
No.
Thank Cameron is your friend's son? Ma'am?
Yes,
So Cameron is your best friend's son?
yes, that's correct.
I mean, I don't know how long you've known her, but you may want to reassess your friendship.
I know, I've been knowing her since her and her son have been 2 years old. So,
I'm sorry?
since they've been 2 years old,
They've been 2 years old. What do
that's
you
how long I've been knowing her.
mean? Okay, right. And there's a lot of history there, so this just may be a one-off. She may have good reason, she may not. But this kind of situation we're in right now, and that Michael's in, it may be one of those you just kind of reassess what's happening. All right, so Dad, what's the plan for us to release Michael?
What's the plan with him now?
Yeah, if us release Michael, what's the plan going forward?
If you release him, he's not being able to go anywhere. He's trying to change schools and all that. He's not gonna be. We already had took all his electronic devices when we found out he was got locked up that night. But he won't be able to go anywhere. If he's not at school, he'll be going to work with me every day again.
All right, what do you do for work?
I'm a general manager at a warehouse.
Okay. So can I ask, I see you said fiance, what's mom's status? How's she in the picture?
This is mom.
I'm
Okay, so well, why'd you call her fiance? Call her mom.
If I call her his mom or my baby mom, I'm gonna get jumped on when I go home. So I say the right thing, so. I'm just telling you the truth. I got to say the right thing. So
I can respect that.
Judge, that's a smart man.
I can respect that. All right, so okay. Well, this is what I'm gonna do. He has no history with this department. He would be released back to you guys. So I'm gonna go through the same thing. Michael, you weren't here, but your parents were. So this, mom, I have permission to give him a drug test?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, so Michael, this is what's gonna lay out for you. I'm gonna ask you a question. Don't answer it yet. My question is, if I give you a drug test, are you gonna be dirty or clean for anything that you shouldn't be? And before you answer, this is the way it works out. You can tell me that you're clean. We give you a test, you're clean, and you'll go home on electronic monitor with your folks today. However, if you tell me that you're dirty, I'm gonna make you sit here. I see that your birthday is February 26th, so you are gonna sit here on your birthday and get released the next day to go back home. And you can, being here on your birthday is a consequence of you using drugs that you shouldn't be. However, if you tell me that you are clean and you actually test dirty, I'm gonna hold you here. We'll see you at the 10-day hearing. I'll make a decision then. All right, and this is based on the fact that you're level 1 outstanding. So, Mr. Jones, young Mr. Jones, now my question for you is, if I give you a drug test, are you gonna be clean or dirty?
Dirty.
Okay, what are you gonna be dirty for?
Marijuana.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so mom, dad, now you know. There's some conversation. I don't wanna know any more details about where it came from, how much. That's something that your mom and dad need to talk to you about as parents, and something you need to be truthful to them about. I will go ahead, as long as you're level 1 outstanding, I'll release you on February 27th, which is the day after your birthday. All right?
Yes, sir.
Mom, dad, any questions?
No, sir.
No.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Johnson, I'm assuming no objections. Present.
Thank you. My excuse.
You are. Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
Thank you. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Johnson. All right, next we have Kenyon Maloney.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Just for your knowledge, his MHMR caseworker, Joe Martinez, is on this call too.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ms. Martinez. I saw you there earlier. All right, so do we have a parent here for Mr. Maloney? No?
Your Honor, I gave her notice, told her that she needed to be here. She said she would be.
So, Mr. Maloney, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child's brought here, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And if you cannot afford an attorney, we'll provide one for you. Mr. Hall has been appointed as your attorney. So this is the 7-Eleven case. Go in, went to the bathroom. They told y'all to leave. Somebody punched them, said they're going to knock his bitch ass out. Took alcohol and candy, left, came back saying the police aren't going to take too long. And then police showed up, ran, went to Kroger. Police said stop. And everyone but Keeson ran. So you ran from the police as well, allegedly. So you were here before in 2019 for assaulting a public servant. You got supervisory caution. Then the next year, we were brought in for fail to ID to the police, which you got DPP for, and criminal trespass. And so you were not doing well on DPP. You're leaving the home, going overnight, and they're going to refer your cases to the DA's office. And smoking weed while you're on DPP. So, all right. So, Mr. Maloney, it seems like DPP is not working for you. It seems like that if I leave you in the community, you're a danger to yourself and others, so I'm going to go and detain you. Thank you, Mr. Maloney.
Thanks, Judge.
Amanda Modisette. Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Your Honor, may I be excused?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Spence.
Thank you.
Sir? Oh, we have MHMR here. Mr. Martinez, I know you're here, you were listening, but I'm not going to release him at this point. If there's no parent here, and he's just got a pattern of behavior, so, all right.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, sir.
All right, Amanda, good morning. I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child's brought to a facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Ms. Barrows is your attorney. I think I saw her. Hello, good morning, Ms. Barrows.
Morning.
All right, so Ms. Modisette, you are 16. You were brought in last October for 2 counts of harassment of a public servant and an assault of a public servant, which you got probation for. A month later, you get arrested for an assault bodily injury. 2 months later, you're arrested for an assault. A couple weeks ago, I issued a warrant for you, and you're brought here. On February 10th, you threatened to kill Ms. Smith and your CPS worker. You said you had a gun, but there was no weapon found by staff. All right, so help me out, Mr. Houston. What do you mean by staff? Was she placed somewhere?
She's currently at the Family Choice ACH home in Fort Worth.
Okay.
She's in CPS custody.
Okay. All right, and CPS is permanent managing. Ms. Barrows, are you the attorney on the CPS case as well?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, a CPS worker was online, but she had to go to court in Russ, Texas.
Okay.
Mr. Jones is also here.
Well, have we confirmed that she's pregnant?
Yes,
Okay. All right.
it was confirmed on January 28th.
Then at this point, what I'm going to do all right. So Ms. Mata said at this point, CPS is not here. I don't know if what the situation is that's going on with CPS. Ms. Barrows, or Mr. Houston, so where is her CPS case out of? What county?
Henderson,
Okay.
Texas.
So So who's in the parent room?
It's
Okay.
the supervisor.
Oh, supervisor, okay. All right, so how about this? Mr. Houston, can you facilitate a call with Ms. Barrows in the department? And because Ms. Barrows is a great CPS attorney, she'll be able to come up and be creative and figure out what we can do for this child. Ms. Barrows, just come back and let me know, because right now it seems like, one, there was no gun found in there, so just the threat's one thing.
Okay.
There may be behavioral mental health issues, especially if she's in conservatorship and placed
Okay.
there. So figure out a plan for Ms. Barrows, and I'm probably going to go along with it. All right, but since she's here in the building, I think it may be a good opportunity. Mr. Houston, can you help with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, especially for the department, he can probably give you Ms. Barrows' number, and y'all can have a phone call. Even if it's before this hearing's over, just let me know. Give me a good plan. And
Okay.
move forward. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
So, Miss Modisette, Amanda? No. Yeah, Amanda, right? You understand what's going on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You understand why you're here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's just a certain line. Sometimes you can't cross that line. Otherwise, you end up having to come to juvenile detention. Okay. But I don't think you belong here. I think there's other issues going on. I want you to go and take care of your real problems first. Okay.
Yes,
But please don't come back here. I mean, you know where you can't cross the line. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Amanda. Braden Moore. Yes, sir.
There's something wrong with that. I can't hear him. I can't hear him. When he was talking, I couldn't hear him.
Braden Moore. Mr.
Yes.
Moore, I'm Judge Ken. This is a detention hearing. When a kid is brought to a facility, you'll see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you in custody or to release you. If I keep you here, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have rights to attorney. Mr. Newman has been appointed as your attorney. Do we have a parent here for Mr. Moore?
He's in CPS conservatorship, Your Honor.
All right, he's in conservatorship. So we have somebody from the department here?
Yes, Miss Merritt, she's on with us, sir, Your Honor.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm his caseworker.
Hello, Miss Merritt. Okay.
Good morning.
So, well, Ms. Merritt, can I ask what county is his CPS case out of?
Tarrant
All right,
County.
Judge.
Tarrant County, all right. So Braden, you are currently on probation for assault bodily injury and for unlawfully carrying a weapon. The assault case is discharged.
Yes,
So
sir.
unlawfully carrying a weapon in a prohibited place. So you could be committed to TJJD. And we ordered TCAP. You're at All Church Home under CPS. They placed you at Gold Star Academy in spring. Then February 1st, you left when they came to pick you up. And on February 2nd, you had absconded. So we issued a warrant for you on February 4th. You were picked up in Venus February 8th. February 17th, we moved you to Tarrant County Jail. They called saying they didn't have the proper paperwork. So they brought you back here. Oh, this is the one the wrong Braden. Wrong Moore. Okay. All right. So my question is for Miss Merritt,
Yes,
what's
sir.
y'all's plan for this young man?
Currently, we do not have placement for Braden due to his runaways and his behaviors. We're currently working on placement. We had placement for him at one point, but when he did his runaway in February 1st, we lost that placement. So we're currently on the hunt for another placement. He's been denied at several placement agencies here and out of state. So they're currently still working on it.
Okay, so, all right, Mr. Alexander,
Yes, Your Honor.
how many days has he been here total?
Are we counting him leaving and coming back as a restart?
Since the runaway referral.
I believe today would have been the 9th day, not including the weekends. I guess 13 days altogether.
13 days altogether. All right. So, Ms. Merritt, this is the uncomfortable conversation time. So there's been 2 weeks. Juvenile detention is a facility, but it's not an RTC. All right. So I try and be reasonable and work with OCOK and the department, but I don't see a new offense other than absconding. But I think that kind of absconding kind of falls into the whole behavioral problems that we're having, that he was in placement in the first place, right? So I don't know if it's necessarily a criminal delinquency issue or a behavioral issue. How much time do y'all need?
If you could grant us, Your Honor, until Friday.
Okay.
We totally understand. We're working on it. We may have something today as a last minute placement, but if you can grant us to Friday, we would be gracious of that.
Okay. So this is what I'm going to do is for Monday, close of business, y'all need to pick them up one way or another. Okay? So I'm giving you the weekend on top of Friday. So
Okay.
you're saying hopefully today, you're asking me till Friday. I'm going to give you that plus the weekend. But that's based on our deal is you will pick them up one way or another by the end of business on Monday. Is that fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Trying
Appreciate
to work with you. I understand it's not easy, but you have to understand where I'm coming from. We're
Oh,
not.
absolutely. Absolutely. And we respect you in the courts for that. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Merritt.
Thank
All right,
you.
so Braden, the situation here is decisions have consequences. And so when you abscond from a facility, you kind of create a situation that opens certain doors and shuts other doors, and just shut enough doors where you end up staying here. And so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and keep you. Now I'm going to let you know that there is no situation so bad that you can't make it worse. And so if you cause problems back here, your probation could be revoked for absconding and you could be committed to THJD. So you need to make good decisions going forward. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Braden.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Faith Moore. All right. Are you Faith?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 days. Have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days. While you're here, you have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Can't afford one, we'll provide one for you. Your attorney, in your case, is Ms. Herrick. Oh, there you are. Good morning, Ms. Herrick.
Good morning.
All right. So, Faith, you're 15 years old. You have no history. You're at Fort Worth. Police went to Fort Behavioral Health. Juvenile male resident said that Faith believed that he had been talking about you, as well as women in general, in a derogatory way. While standing in line, he said that you approached and began hitting him in the face, caused pain, some blood. Police admitted to the police they hit the victim. And that you are waiting to be transported to a facility in Oklahoma for behavioral issues. I said, Mom, are you your mom?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what's the plan?
Could we rewind to, I was told that the boy said a little more than that. It was quite a bit more vulgar.
It very well could be, but that's not, this isn't a trial.
Okay.
This is just about,
Yes, sir. So I do not have one. Our plan was for her to go to Teen Challenge in Oklahoma. I was trying to get her, we were so close to getting her there. Her intake date was Wednesday, the 17th. And then this incident occurred. And so Teen Challenge Oklahoma has now denied her acceptance into the program. They said that they're not equipped to handle this situation. I've not been able to verbally speak to them to see if they would, reconsider. There are other teen challenges across the nation and I'm pursuing them as well. But as of right now, I don't have another place except for home. She was in Fort Behavioral. I need to leave this on, right? Okay. So I'm working on another place because there's some deep healing that needs to take place. But as of right now, I do not have another.
But why was she at Fort Behavioral?
There's been a number of situations. She has done different drugs. There have been, other incidents of assault. Just some bad choices. There's abandonment issues. Dad abandoned us when she was little. So just some deep healing that needs to take place. She was with Dad for a little while. He took us back to court, resurfaced, and judge awarded split custody. At a certain point, Faith was resenting that whole split, and she wanted to go live with him. So I let her, and she experienced lots of freedom, and that's where she started getting into different, like cocaine, even at age 13. And so
so my decision is it's about releasing her or keeping her.
Yes.
And kind of worried about her own safety if I was to release her.
I understand.
There's a reason why she was at Fort Behavioral.
That's right.
She escalated it a little bit more than she should have.
Right.
So I guess my main question right now is, are you able to provide suitable care for her with her behavioral issues? Not that you want to, not that you're not guiding her the right way, because it could be that she's just refusing to accept your supervision. Right? And that's just part of why we're here.
Yes,
So,
sir. That has been the case. I mean, if you decide to hold her, it's going to hurt. Faith, I love you. I mean, I'm looking forward. It's a difficult spot. Like
this is not about whether you want her.
I know.
This is about whether Faith. I mean, she's almost 16, right?
If there's something that has changed in her stay here, then I might be able to take care of her until we find a different place. But ultimately, this is not the first hospital that she's been in. This is the longest term hospital. And, I feel like they failed us. So I'm not going to.
Does she have a history of running away?
Yes. I don't know how many times. I can't even tell you how many times. Or many, many, many times.
That's Faith. One thing, and this is just, I'm trying to talk to you like an adult with respect, but decisions have consequences, right? And when you're just a kid, then you can make a bad decision, and everyone around you will forgive and forget, and just put it past you and move on. But as you get older, or you make bigger decisions, then those kind of linger, and it's just harder to keep up with it. So when I'm looking at an almost 16-year-old young lady that has a history of running away with behavioral problems, with hard drug use, I'm very concerned about leaving you. If there was no history of running away, I'd probably be letting you go. If there's no history of hard drug use, I'd probably let you go. If you weren't already a behavioral place getting an assaultive behavior, but the fact that we have all these different things going on, I just think right now I have to keep you here. But that being said, it's a misdemeanor assault case. I don't want to keep you here. You have to convince me that there's been some kind of change that I need to let you go. And the way you do that is through behavior level. You're level 1 outstanding now, and I'm glad that you are. You need to hold on to that. Okay? 8 days of being here is enough. 5 days of level 1 out, just not enough with your history. Okay? It's going to take a little bit more. Your attorney's a great attorney. She'll let the court know when she feels like, because they know me, and I'm very consistent. They know what I'm looking for. And when your attorney feels like we've gotten to the point, I'll reevaluate this and reconsider this. My big thing is I can't have you out in the community and then just run off, right? Not a 16-year-old girl with drug history. Right? The too many girls end up in dumpsters and ditches.
Right.
With that combination of things. Okay. Faith, I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I'm not asking you to like it. I'm just asking you to respect that I'm giving you my explanation so you understand what's happening. Okay. All right. Thank you, Faith.
Judge, if I may add one thing.
Yes.
Mom does live in Houston area.
She does what?
She lives in the Houston area.
Okay.
Actually, I live in Lufkin, in Amesbury.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That distance, I don't mind. That doesn't bother me. It's just the running away. You know, a 16-year-old girl over on the 59 corridor is not always a safe place to be. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank
May
you.
I be excused?
Yes. Have a good day.
You too, thank you.
I guess I don't know what did he just say? He's holding her? Is it the-
Cameron Sales.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a correction in my report that you've got there. He has no offense history.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that, but they all matched up perfectly. So. Was Cameron the one kid that didn't run?
No, Your Honor, he was one of the kids that ran.
Oh, okay. All right, Cameron, I'm Judge Kim. Do we have a parent here? Oh, coming in. Great. Judge Kim, this is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent, and you have the right to an attorney. We have appointed Mr. Beaver as your attorney for this case. Good morning, Mr. Beaver.
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, so Cameron, this is the 7-Eleven case over in Camp Bowie on February 14th. And 6-7 young men came in, went to the bathroom, told Joe to leave, started hitting the employees, took some 5 bottles of wine, 1 brownie, and 5 bags of gummy lifesavers. You were positively identified. Police went over to the Kroger behind after you ran. This is one where you also came back, allegedly came back and said the police aren't going to show up, and robbed them a second time. So, and when they searched you at the detention center, they found gummy worms and hot Cheetos. So, you have no history with our department. All right, so you are Cameron's mom?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, so how many boys were supposed to be sleeping at your house that night?
Now, let's get with that, Sir, sorry. I'm a little upset because of what I heard out there.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's keep this all the way real.
Oh my God. I am really actually working on that. The problem, Stephen Rosen, who is being so kind and thoughtful in the chat about my storytelling abilities, which I appreciate, is oh my God, there's a beaver on the screen missed by me. Wow, what a fail. Just a fail right there. Anyways, now that that's fixed, my ADD makes it difficult to complete complex executive functioning tasks over long periods of time without there being an immediate gratification and reward. So there's a really narrow frame of things I can do all by myself really good. Sometimes, most often in my past, when I've done the best, I've been supported and surrounded by people who just sort of pick up the little pieces around me and they're like, okay, yeah, we can do that. Because I do great, I have big ideas and lots of fun things and I have lots of energy and I can do lots of things. But I am not ideal at being in charge of all the small details. I can tell you all the small details that need done. I will probably not do very good at doing them all the time without being reminded of it. And that's not bad. It's just recognizing my different abilities, unless it's like, anyways, suffice it to say, I could probably write a book if somebody like checked in with me every week and was like, okay, here, send me this, do that. And then I would actually write it. But, this mom, first of all, we're gonna re-rack this because she just took attitude with Judge Kim, and he, I think, was a little taken aback. Oh yeah, I don't doubt it, Stephen. Like I like talking in public. Like I have no issue public speaking, and I really like talking to a crowd. And I love talking to people like and telling jokes. I always think it's funnier. Like as everyone drinks, I get funnier. So And my dad's a really good storyteller. I think that's where I've learned some of that. But because I have no visual imagery, I lose the plot a lot. So if you guys keep me on track, which you do, that is part of why I think sometimes I can keep my stories straight. But it's why I was never a very good writer, or thought I wasn't, because I was like, oh, I can't do a whole book. How could somebody write a whole book? And then now I just recognize, like, it's just the way my brain is. Anywho, do you think there's contempt coming from Judge Kim? Do you think there is? Let's see. I'm going to re-rack that a minute. Because Mr. Beaver talked. Yeah, we can't have that. We can't have that. We can't have that. We need the beeve on the screen to be properly beaved. Streamlabs hates me too. Believe me. Okay, here we go. She's coming in. Oh, she's got a notepad. She is serious about this business. First of all, just knowing what she already said, what do you think how do you think she's going to do with Judge Kim? Do you think this is the right tack to take? I want to know what you think. Also, Mr. Beaver, I wish I could get a tie for this beaver to wear. A lot of people don't like public speaking. I don't mind public speaking at all. Really, I mean, I think that's obvious as I sit here in my kitchen, publicly speaking for my own personal enjoyment. But it feels like I'm hanging out with you guys and just hanging. So this is how I publicly speak. I get told I give great presentations, as a matter of fact. But Judge Kim, his bow tie may burst, to be honest. It will bode well, but I don't know if you were listening, my crazy life. Listen to her tone of voice. She is taking issue with the judge. I don't know if you've noticed. Have you ever heard the word objection in this courtroom? Even from any lawyers? You don't object in this courtroom. That's not going to do you well. I wonder how it works on the true record, because they need to make objections, but they don't. All right, let's go. Here we go. Come on, lady. Yell at Judge Kim.
Judge Kim, this is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have decided whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent, and you have the right to an attorney. We have appointed Mr. Beaver as your attorney for this case. Good morning, Mr. Beaver.
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, so Cameron, this is the 7-Eleven case over in Camp Bowie on February 14th. And 6-7 young men came in, went to the bathroom, told Joe to leave, started hitting the employees, took some 5 bottles of wine, 1 brownie, and 5 bags of gummy lifesavers. You were positively identified. Police went over to the Kroger behind after you ran. This is one where you also came back, allegedly came back and said the police aren't going to show up, and robbed them a second time. So, and when they searched you at the detention center, they found gummy worms and hot Cheetos. So, you have no history with our department. All right, so you are Cameron's mom?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, so how many boys were supposed to be sleeping at your house that night?
Now, let's get with that, Sir. Sorry. I'm a little upset because of what I heard out there. Okay, let's keep this all the way real. I left the house around, got to Mr. Jones's around 3-something. We've been friends since their kid's been 2. Okay, they got a son named Mike, who's best friends with another person. Another one.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
I'm sorry, sir. But
I just want to remind you, there's a whole bunch of backstory here that we're not here for right now.
okay, I get that. But what was said was that the kids were supposed to spit it out over my house, and that is not true.
Okay, where was Cameron supposed to
No, Cameron was supposed to come home with me. I went over to Jones's house only to be there for a couple of hours because I knew the storm was coming. Okay. So I took the kids out to get out for a little while, and Cameron and Mike went to the store. Okay, they asked for some change to go to the store, and no one came back. I stayed at that house until 9 o'clock in the evening. No one came back. So I took my daughter and I went home. By the time I got home, I got a phone call from Cameron saying, Mom, I'm going to spend the night. Spend the night where? Who are you telling me where you're spending the night and you were supposed to leave with me? Okay, this is the problem. This happened on a Friday. He called me Friday night. I did not hear back from him until Saturday. Okay, my son does not have a phone. He has a phone that he's using with Wi-Fi. Okay, he called me Saturday. Once I got a hold of him, he called Saturday saying, Mom, I'm okay. I'm over on the west side at some apartments, this and that. Still got in his butt because he had no business being where he was, with who he was. I don't know none of the kids he was with except for Mike, because that's who he left with. He was not supposed to leave. He's supposed to come with me and leave with me. And he knows that. And so what happened was, all of a sudden, when I talked Saturday with him, he says, Mom, I understand. I chewed him out. And I told him he needed to be home. By then, the weather's bad. I can't even get to you to pick you up if I wanted to. He's like, I'm going to get a ride, Mom. I'm upset with him because this is not like Cameron whatsoever. So next thing you know, I get a call Sunday. He's with you. And the same, he told me the whole story that happened at the store. He told the truth and everything on what he did. Everything you told me, he said verbatim. He's not one to lie. He will tell the truth even if he was a part of it. The thing is, this is not Cameron. Cameron left with someone when he was supposed to go to the store and come right back, did not. And this is where we are, Judge.
All right, so this is where I'm gonna, if anything, I'm consistent. So
I'm sorry, but I'm just a little upset on what was said because
I understand.
He was supposed to stay with me, period.
Part of me thinks Cameron,
with the weather.
Part of me thinks Cameron probably doesn't want to go home right now. So, all right. Well, Cameron, I'm gonna do the exact same thing I did with other kids. Well, not all of them. One of them had a prior, but the other kids that had no priors, I'm gonna give you the same opportunity. So, Mom, do you mind if I give him a drug test?
Go ahead. He's probably gonna be dirty if he was hanging with who he was with.
All right, we'll see. So, Cameron, I'm gonna ask you a question before you answer. Let me explain how this works out. The question I'm gonna ask is, if I give you a drug test, are you gonna be clean or dirty? Now, before you answer it, this is the way it can work out. You tell me that you're clean. You go home with your mom today. You tell me that you are dirty, then I'm going to, you have to keep clean for 72 hours, or you have to keep level 1 for 72 hours, and then I will let you go on electronic monitor back to your mom. However, if you tell me that you're clean and you're actually dirty, I'm going to make you wait, and we'll see you at the 10-day hearing, and I'll make a decision then. So, my question for you, if I give you a drug test, are you going to be clean or dirty?
Dirty.
What are you going to be dirty for?
Weed.
For weed. All right. So as long as the only thing that you're dirty for is weed, then we will hold level 1 for 3 more days, and then we'll go and release you to your mom on electronic monitor.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mom, any questions for me?
No, sir. That's all I needed to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And by the way, Cameron, when you get out, you're gonna have a conversation with your mom about where it came from, how much you smoke, all these things, who you're with, and you better be honest with her, because if your mom calls back and tells us that you're lying to her and she can't supervise you, we'll just bring you back here. So you better start coming up with your mind the entire story to tell your mom, probably about what happened last weekend, and about your drug use. All right? All right. Thank you, Mr. Sales. Christopher Small.
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes.
you should have a Tiffany Small 91 in your waiting room.
Is that the parent?
That is the parent. She is not late to court for any fault of her own. I accidentally transposed a number when I sent her the Zoom link this morning.
Thank you for letting me know. Ms. Small, can you hear us? Ms. Small, can you hear us? Ms. Small, can you hear us? Tiffany Small?
Tiffany Small?
Should I call her, Your Honor?
No, I think her connection's having problems. All right, Ms. Small, can you hear us? Okay, good. Sorry for keeping the waiting room. Usually I cut it off at 10:30 exactly, but Mr. Lewis told us that you had the wrong Zoom number, so I appreciate your patience while you're in the waiting room. All right, so Christopher, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, we'll provide one for you. We have appointed Mr. Daniel as your attorney. Good morning, Mr. Daniel.
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, so Christopher, you're 14 years old. Back on February 21st, Fort Worth brought you in yesterday, saying that your sister called the police about a domestic. When they got there, they met with your mom and sister, who said that your mom caught you in possession of a cell phone that you weren't allowed to have. When you're confronted, there was an argument, escalated. You allegedly pushed your mom several times to force her away, and then pushed her to the ground. Then, allegedly, you put your arm around her neck and struck her in the head with your right elbow, causing her pain. So, evidently, your sister pushed you off mom, then was told by mom to leave the room and call the police. Your sister said that you threw a ceramic bowl at her while she was calling 911 but missed. When they got there, police found you sitting on the awning outside window of the apartment and took you into custody. All right. So, Tiffany, you're on mute. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
All right. So, first question is, why was his cell phone taken away?
He's not allowed to have any electronics due to him doing stuff that he's not supposed to be doing. We had an incident last year where he decided to use his school tablet and communicate with a young lady, and basically they were showing their body parts.
Okay.
So to relieve all that, I just took the cell phones and the tablets because you're not showing me that you're responsible to do what you're supposed to be doing.
Good. All right. Mom, fantastic. So, then he ended up with another cell phone or his own cell phone?
What he wound up with his, but he also wound up with my niece's phone.
Okay.
And that's what the argument was about because I called him out on a lie. This is not the first time. This is not the first time he stole. We just had an incident, not last week, but the week before, where a family is helping me get him to school, and he decided to take her work phone. So she went a whole day without working. And when he was asked if he had the phone, he said no. And I looked at him and I said, Chris, well, I'm telling you now, I don't believe you because you have stolen so much in your time that you don't tell the truth. And I'm telling you right now, I don't believe that you do not have that phone.
So he's a liar too.
Huh?
So he's a liar also.
Yes, he's a liar and a thief.
Okay.
So I said, you know what? Let me go search the room one more time. And when I went to go search the room, the cell phone was hidden. Not only did he have the cell phone, he had it on. She called it. So instead of getting caught, he put the phone on Do Not Disturb and hid it.
All right.
So they had to drive all the way out here to confront him about it. And she missed a whole day's of work. Instead, I've talked to him about his behavior. I said, look, needs to be some changes. He looked at me and said, I don't need to change. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Basically tell me you need to accept the way I am. We had an incident where he stole something from my job, not once, but twice. I work for the school district. You're putting my job in jeopardy. It's already, my kids go to school in Mansfield ISD. Unfortunately, they get to go because I work out there.
So,
I can lose my job because you want to do whatever you want.
Tiffany, so basically what you're telling is Christopher's at that point where you're saying he's gonna call the shots.
Yeah, basically. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He has 2 assault charges plus the one that I pressed on him against my mom. So it's
I'm sorry,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
I apologize for interrupting, but I've already made my decision. I've made the decision that Christopher doesn't get to decide what he does. He's gonna be here at detention. And so he can behave and follow all the rules and show that he can follow the rules and be respectful, or he can stay here. So Christopher, if you can actually cross over and actually do what you're supposed to do and follow and be level 1 outstanding and hold on to it, then I will give you the chance to go home so you can be level 1 outstanding in your mom's house. But if you're
I'm gonna be honest, I don't want him in my home.
well, Mom, if you refuse to take him, then we can call CPS and get them involved. My suggestion and my request is that you and I work together and set Christopher on the right direction. He's a young man. He's 14. We still have time. Mom, hold on a second. We still have time to change behavior and change his way of thinking to prepare him to be a young adult. All right? I don't want to give up on him yet. I want to at least try with this idea. I believe that when the court and the parents work together for a child, we can do miracles and do amazing things. A lot of times there's things I can't do without the parents. And there's a lot of times there's parents can't do things without the court. But if we work together, it's going to be tough for Christopher, but I'd like to give him at least a chance.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Chris has had 3 therapists. He has a psychiatrist. He has went to a behavior center. He played the game. He lets them know, hey, I'm gonna sugarcoat it. I can't. Not only do I have to care about him, I'm caring about his sister, and his sister. This is affecting her really bad. It's not that I don't want him into my home. Sorry, I live by the Air Force Base.
I understand. So, Ms. Small.
This is a lot.
Yeah,
This is a lot.
But one thing to remember is he's never dealt with Judge Kim before. All right. And so I just have a different style. Now the courts are involved. I'm asking for the chance, at least to give me a shot to see what the courts can do to help. I'm not promising that we can, but there's a lot of kids, we get to the point where nothing has worked, but the courts do. So I'm asking for the opportunity. If you're telling me that, because you know your son way better than I do, and I'm not going to pretend to know your son. I just met him for the first time today. If you are telling me in your experience and your wisdom that he cannot be helped, well, then it is what it is, and we go a different direction. What I'm asking for is the opportunity as the juvenile judge to see if we can do something with our services that we can help him. One thing that you will find about me and Christopher will find is that I'm tough, but I'm fair. And so I have expectations from Christopher. He either meets those expectations or he doesn't. And if he doesn't, it becomes very, very painful. Okay. So I'm asking for the opportunity, at least the chance. If you're willing to give me the chance, I know you've tried just about everything you can, but you and I have never met before. This may be the rare opportunity that this is the magic combination between you and me, Mom, that we can actually set Christopher in the right direction. And if it doesn't, it may not work. I'm just asking for the opportunity. Now, the alternative, Ms. Small, is just call CPS and do what's called a wrapper, where you're basically refusing to accept responsibility for your child and just turn them over to the state. But
No, because that's the thing. I adopted him from the state. It's not that I don't want him. I am tired. I am physically tired. I am physically tired.
I understand.
And I'm walking around with a busted lip and scars all over my body, and my body's in pain. And I took off of work for this. This is not cool. And it's every month with this. Every month.
And that's why I'm asking for the chance. That's all. I'm just asking for the opportunity.
He literally had a mentor to come to the house. We already had stuff set up, and this happened. All because you don't like what I called you out. I'm sorry.
I think you're doing a great job. Like I am a big fan of yours. But I'm just thinking that Christopher's getting to the age and size and maturity where You know, it's beyond what you can do. So I'm asking if you'll work with me with an open heart and try and help Christopher this one chance. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But at this point, Christopher has to understand that he can go to TJJD and be committed for this. So there's a huge negative consequence out of this if he doesn't do right. And Mom, no matter what you say, you can't stop me. If I decide he goes to TJJD, he goes to TJJD. You can't stop me. Even if you're here on Zoom or in person, begging on your knees. If I've made my decision, I've made my decision.
Which is understandable. I'm okay with anything when it comes to help for him. I'm tired. I'm so out of options.
You're exhausted, and you've tried so much, and your emotional bank account with Christopher is in the red. He's overdrawn. I get that.
For him to look me in the face and said, "You ain't trying nothing," I'm like, "Oh, really?"
No, at this point, the things like that are outside of his hands. Okay, well, Miss Small, take some time to think about it. I'm going to detain him I was going to detain him either way. I mean, even if you ask me right now, I'm not ready to release him. So I'm going to detain him and I'm going to watch his behavior level here. But please.
And he does not have his meds.
Can you get those medications to us?
Yes, I can.
That'd be great. He'll have to take his meds. Was he taking his meds at home?
Yes.
Okay. When's the last time he saw a doctor?
We have right now everything is over the phone. Because no one's at.
When's the last time he saw the doctor?
Our last appointment was in December, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So it's about time for another one. All right. So, I'm going to go ahead and do another psychiatric evaluation with him and see if the medications. Make sure you get the prescription to us as soon as possible. Okay.
Okay, I'll get it to y'all today.
Okay, Ms. Ball, because of the way the evaluations work, we'll see you at the 10-day hearing on Zoom. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So do I pick him up today or?
No, ma'am. I am not releasing him.
Okay.
Christopher has to prove to me that it is safe and it's a good idea for me to release him. So if he comes here and acts a fool, he's going to stay here for a long time. So I need Christopher to start making good decisions, and he has to prove to me that he can make good decisions. If he doesn't, then he'll just stay here.
Okay. So, because I'm trying to get the understanding so I can let his school know what's going on.
Oh no, he's already been enrolled in our Fort Worth ISD campus here at Kimbo.
Okay. So they already told his school what's going on, or
the paperwork, the computer should transmit that information that he's been unenrolled, discharged from Mansfield, and enrolled here at Fort Worth ISD.
Okay.
Okay.
So y'all are keeping them for how long? I gotta write all this stuff
Oh,
down.
don't write it down because that depends on Christopher. So Christopher, what you don't understand is that your mom absolutely loves you and wants the best for you, right? I don't love you. I'll be just blunt with you. I don't. I expect you to follow the rules and respect other people and do what you're supposed to do. You either do that or you don't. And if you don't, there's negative consequences. You do, there's positive consequences. But there is no love between me and the children, right? So it's not that I don't care about you. I just have no emotional attachment to you. Right? I expect you to follow the rules and do what you're supposed to do. And if you don't, there's a negative consequence. If you do, there is a positive consequence. So I kind of put it on you to do what you're supposed to do. Right? Christopher, do you have a question for me? Okay. All right, Miss Moss. So yeah, there is no set date. It really depends on Christopher, and we'll find out how he does. And if he's causing problems back here, then there are almost limitless opportunities for me. All right.
So, okay. So he stays. I bring the medicine.
Yes.
It depends on his behavior. That's when I get a call saying I need to come pick him up.
Yes, but he has to convince me that it's safe to return him to your home.
Okay.
And he has to convince me that he will follow all the rules in your home. So it's not going to happen in the next couple of days. It's going to take a little while.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Mom.
Uh-huh.
All right. So we have Keeson Smith. Pull that out for Mr. Small? All right, Mr. Smith, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child is brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, I'll provide one for you. We have appointed Ms. Jacobson as your attorney. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Okay, so this is 7-Eleven, the robbery, hitting the clerks, taking stuff, coming back, taking more stuff because they said the police weren't going to show up. Police found the group at Kroger, and everyone ran except for Keeson. So,
Say that last part again.
I beg your pardon?
You said
Everybody ran, but who?
Oh, except for Keeson. Keeson's the only one that stayed there instead of running from the police.
Oh.
So the other 5 ran, so he did the right thing there. So that actually works in his favor. What I'm worried about, so Mr. Dotson, tell me why he is level 2 instead of level 1.
Your Honor, he became 3 unacceptable on the 17th for non-compliant with staff instructions. He did get to level 2 outstanding on the 20th, but on the 21st, he went to 2 acceptable for disrespectful to staff and not following staff instructions.
So he's the only one that showed respect to the police by not running.
Correct.
But then he comes here and he's the only one being disrespectful to the staff.
That is correct.
All right, so Dad, Mom, are you Mom and Dad?
Yes.
Tell me about Keeson. Where was he supposed to be that Saturday night?
At his friend's house,
Which friend?
Byron.
Byron. Okay.
They live 5 minutes away from me,
Okay. And what part of town do y'all live in?
west side of Fort Worth.
West side.
Yes,
Yes.
right down the street from the
I
7-Eleven.
called him that Saturday when it started really getting bad to snow. I told him, I said, I'm gonna come get you so I can play in the snow with you. He said, no, Mama, I'm going to get something to eat. I'm gonna call you back. So it was 10:30 that night, and I told him, I said, hey, it's getting bad. I'm gonna come find you. And he said, I'm doing something and I'm gonna call you back. And I called him several times and he never called me back. And so I got a call Sunday about him being in your custody. So he's just
Tell me more. Tell me more about Keeson.
he's a good kid. Oh, yeah.
I can tell you a little bit about Keeson. Every school he went to, even though he might have gotten in a little trouble, he was always the captain of the football, soccer team, whatever team he was on. Like when you said he didn't run, he was the fastest kid at every school that he ever been with. Right now, we have people on our phone that's calling us for colleges and stuff for him right now, for him to be something better than what he is. And I want him to know that he got talent and don't throw it away. And I'm here for him. And I want him to know that he's not the person. He's not the kid that.
I have a question. Does he get extra points because he's not only didn't run, but could have run really fast and been the fastest of all of the kids that ran? Yet he didn't use his abilities? I think that I honestly don't know. You got to be careful. This is going to be a fine line because the kid has it going for him that he didn't run. So they might have something going. He was in the car, but he didn't run from the police like the other kids did. So that does go for that. Yeah, these hands, absolutely 100%. Really lots of them for not even that expensive. And yeah, I'm gonna probably have to set up my own Discord eventually. All these good people don't want the dirty kind of crap I got on theirs. Anyways, okay, let's see how these people do.
I seen last year. So I don't know what's going on because this ain't the kid I raised. So I want him to know that he has talent. We have people that's want him to go forward in life where he could possibly. These people told him at 18 they would try to take him to the pros. That's how good he is. So I don't know why he's being disrespectful to the staff and all that stuff because he's a good kid. I watched him.
You still have to understand he can get 20 years for this.
Yes, and I told him he don't have to prove nothing to nobody but himself. He's trying to run with the crowd, and I told him he has a mom and dad. I don't know, too many kids has a mom and dad at home. No disrespect, but I don't know too many kids has a mom and a dad. I was raised with a mom and a dad, so I know how it feels. So that's why I try to keep my family together because that do play a major part in a kid's life.
And can I add something else too?
Yes, sir.
The last 2 years, I mean, I'm his stepdad. I've been raising him since he was 9 months. His real dad right down the street won't even care about him. Tell him in his face on the phone, all kind of stuff about him. I've been trying to tell him. So ever since that's been going on with his dad, it's like he's going downhill. But I told him God sent him 2 dads, sent them an extra dad just in case to back up. And that's me. And ever since then, man, it's like, I don't know. It's like it just crushed his heart. And I've been trying to pull his heart out of that bad water for a minute. So I have to tell Keeson all the time, that's why God has sent me and sent your mom here to stand beside you. Don't falter, Keeson. Stand strong. And I understand that you get around the wrong crowds and hear peer pressure and all that and then want to apply it. And I've been telling him not to do that. I love Keeson. My daughter, 7-year-old daughter is at home. She misses him very much.
She's not right now, sir, and I apologize for interrupting. I'm just making a decision to release him or to keep him here, right? So that's what this is. Keeson, I'm gonna do the same thing. So you had the benefit of not running. That worked in your favor, but you're the only one that's not a level 1 outstanding. So that kind of cancels that out. So I'm just gonna treat you like the other ones that have no history with this department. Mom, Dad, do you mind if I give him a drug test?
Please do.
Okay. So Keeson, this is what I'm gonna ask you a question, and don't answer it yet. The question is, if I give you a drug test or when I give you one, are you gonna be clean or dirty? Now, before you answer it, 3 ways this works out. You can tell me that you're clean. If you're clean, I'll let you go as soon as you're level 1 outstanding. All right, which is not today, but it's gonna take a couple days because of the bad decisions that you made that made you drop down in levels. Now, if you tell me that you're dirty, I'm going to hold you and make you, and you are dirty, I'm going to hold you until you hold level 1 outstanding for 3 days and then let you go home. The problem is if you tell me that you're clean and you're actually dirty, then I'm going to make you wait. I'll see you at the 10-day hearing. I'll make a decision then. So now I'm going to ask you when I give you a drug test, are you be clean or dirty?
They can hear me. Oh, I'm gonna be dirty.
Okay, what are you be dirty for?
Weed.
That's it? I need a yes or a no.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we'll give you a drug test as long as the only thing you're dirty for is THC. You get to level 1 outstanding. You hold it for 3 more days. We'll go ahead and release electron. Yes, sir.
And probably liquor.
And probably what?
Liquor.
Liquor. Okay. All right. So, Mom, Dad, you know that. Get to level 1 outstanding. Hold it for 3 days, and then I will release you on electronic monitor your parents. Make sure you understand. You have a couple days to think about. Your parents are going to be asking you about where the weed came from, how much you smoke, how you smoke it, or vape, or whatever, and that, because they're going to have a come to Jesus and come clean story with you, because you're only, 14 years old. If you're telling your parents more lies, then I'm going to bring you back here, all right? So you can either behave like a kid and I'll treat you like a kid, or you can behave like a grown man, I'll treat you like a grown man. All right? It's going to be that simple. All right, so at this point, get to level 1 outstanding, hold it for 3 days. We will release you. When we release you, you'll be on electronic monitor. You cannot go back to that 7-Eleven or that Kroger. Okay? Any questions for me, Keeson? All right, looking forward. You can always make good decisions or bad decisions. Just make good decisions and life will go good for you. All right, thank you.
And be respectful.
Thank you, Anna.
Love you, man.
Thank you. J. Lee West. Yeah. 6 of these? That seemed like pretty good. The first one was a little sketch, but. There's always that one. All right, Jaylee.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And we have appointed Ms. Hamrick as your attorney. Good morning, Ms. Hamrick.
Good morning, Judge Kim.
All right, so let's see. This is February 17th. Arlington PD was dispatched to a domestic. Basically, you've been released from Mesa Springs, went to leave the apartment. Grandma said no. 17th, that was like during the snow and ice. So you tried to jimmy the lock and demand the key from Grandma. Then evidently you slapped your brother, put Grandma in a headlock, hit her in the head with a flashlight or stick, caused pain and some swelling. Brother and Grandma gave the same account, and you admitted to slapping the brother, putting Grandma in a headlock, and hitting her with a flashlight. There's a previous family violence case, which we went through mediation. And the grandma was a victim. All right, so she refused to give a drug test. Is that correct, Ms. Guerrero?
According to JCMS, Judge, it says she was able to provide.
Okay, that's fine. So, Jaylee, what I'm going to do is, if you had tested clean, I would be talking to Grandma right now, asking her questions, figuring out a way to release you. But since you did not, it's been too much time, we're going to go ahead and take a hair follicle sample, and we have to wait for the lab to come back. So you're going to be detained until we get the lab results back. Okay, this is a consequence for you not submitting a sample when you were asked. Okay? So, Grandma, we will see you. We'll have another detention hearing after we get the drug lab results back. Okay?
Thank
I
you.
did my test though.
I'm sorry?
I did my drug test.
No, Ms. Guerrero is saying that we couldn't get a sample from you. So
I did when I first got here.
we'll look it up. We'll make a decision then. So we may have another detention hearing in the future. But at this point, Ms. Guerrero, unless you can see anything different.
No, Judge, it still reports the same on JCMS.
Okay. So we don't have a sample for you. All right, we'll see you after your lab results come back, Jaylee. Thank you. All right, at this point, these proceedings have been broadcast online in order to comply with Article 1, Section 13 of the Texas Constitution.
The Texas Constitution, which is the Open Courts Act. However, the Open Courts Act does provide, when a case is about a child under the age of 14, that the courts are presumed to be closed unless it is found to be in the better interest of the child or the public. Finding no such reason, I will be closing this hearing to the public. Please leave 30 seconds for the tape delay. Anyways, guys, I appreciate having you so much in the kitchen tonight. I love all the conversation. I love all the sharing. I love all of your stories and encouragement and kind thoughts and comments. It inspires me to keep going and is how I am making myself do this. And I'm really happy and proud and thankful and excited. So I appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope that you have a wonderful evening. I would like to remind you I will probably be streaming sometime tomorrow during the day, but the best place to find me is lurking in amongst a couple different chat rooms. I call them chat rooms. Credence and Mikey, Time Served, and looking at legal stuff. You can find me in most of those places. And why does he have to be Larry Beaver? I know. He could have been Harry Beaver, right? Anyways, I love you all so, so much. I apologize that it's over already, but it's only to bring you more content soon. Also, I have a bunch of content, and I think the replay crew is some of the coolest people in the world, especially when they write comments on the videos. What I'm also planning on doing is finding cool comments and highlighting them at the end of videos starting soon. So I want to see your cool comments, and they might be featured coming up. Also, if you would like to draw a special Larry the Beaver, I will also accept submissions for that. Anyways, I hope all of you are well. I hope everybody that's going through something remembers that every single day up until today, you have made it through and you've done it. And you can keep doing it. I promise you. You're very, very strong, even if you don't feel like it. So remember that. Be kind to yourself. If you can't think of what nice to say to yourself, think of what I might say to you. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Night. Bye.